Welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love now.
This might be bad.
But your group has really some characters in it, no?
Ora naħseb.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode number 207 and we are hosts Matt
And Jake.
here to give you guys all the talking points about Matchday 23 in Serie A.
Matchday 23 was a good one, as always. A little bit weird because we will not be discussing the Milan-Bologna game because it hasn't happened yet. It's actually taking place tonight at 8:45. So
It's a bit weird because the reason we record on Tuesday and not Monday is so that we can cover all the games.
Yeah.
But this has gotten stretched out to Tuesday. So we're currently recording this on the 3rd of February at 6:12. Straight after recording, just watching the Milan game, and it sucks that we won't be able to cover it.
Yeah. So please let us know your thoughts on that game in the group chat and in the YouTube comment section. That would be absolutely great. But yes, we can move on to goals of the weekend. Buddy, there were a few, huh?
There were a few, not as many as usual.
Not as many. Last week,
Hitting me with the body right now.
last week we had some mental goals. But this week there was quite a selection as well, bro. So Abisher scored a great goal against Sassuolo.
Yeah,
from
bullet.
outside the area, an absolute bullet.
It was a bumbaclat, one of those.
Berardi's first goal against Pisa was a Pisa cake for him.
Yeah, Berardi's back.
Exactly. He had two defenders and he just literally just takes it to the byline and just hoofs it into the roof of the net. Absolutely beautiful from a very difficult angle. We've also included Vitinha's goal against Lazio, not because of the goal itself, but because of Malinovski's violent corner. Now, I haven't seen someone shoot from a corner and actually get it on target with that much power before.
Yeah, he was in flow state. Bro is locked in.
He had just taken a penalty as well, very hard.
And he counted that penalty as well. He was on one, Malinovski.
Not to mention, of course, last week scoring that incredible knuckleball free kick.
Yeah.
So yeah, McKennie scored a lovely goal against Parma as well, kind of like what would you call that? A volley. Volley. Quite similar to another goal that actually won goal of the week, but a little bit different, not quite as good. Yes.
Not as much sauce.
Yeah. Zielinski scored a lovely goal against Cremonese, although I do believe that Audero could have done a little bit better, but what a rocket it was and went right between Audero's arms.
It was, however, obviously, Kilicsoy. And the excuse, if there are any Turks listening to us, please tell us the pronunciation of Kilicsoy's name so we could say it right for 3 episodes and then go back to calling him Kilicsoy.
Yeah.
But what a goal. The fact that it was, so firstly, looping cross, a real floated cross by Esposito from the flank. Kilicsoy all by himself at the far post, set up the flying volley, whatever they call it, and he hit it through the legs of the goalkeeper. It was immediately called for offside. It was called off, so he didn't really get to enjoy the celebration. It was quite a lengthy check. The second it was given, you could see he's off in celebration.
He had already gone, like before the camera panned. He was already out of frame.
The entire team running after him. It was nice to see. Cagliari super dominant in that game. Look, this is a week where we have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we also have 2 more goals to mention as honorable mentions, by the way. Just Gutierrez and Vergara against Fiorentina, because they were both lovely goals.
Oh yeah, Gutierrez
curled it, and Vergara's goal was extremely simple and direct. It reminded me a little bit of how Kaká used to play.
I get
because 2 touches. The touch to clear the defender, to just create enough space between him and the keeper, and then the other touch to finish it cleanly into the bottom corner. Really nice goal.
And not to mention Højlund's hold-up play. And by hold-up play, I mean he just blocked the defender from getting any touch. Højlund didn't even touch the ball himself. So Meret got the assist over there. Yes, this week we had 2 managerial sackings, man. We had the Pisa manager Gilardino, who was sacked after his side lost at home 3-1 against Sassuolo. That is still 1 victory this season for Pisa. And we also had the sacking of Zanetti, which is one that we saw coming from a mile away, and that was after they lost against relegation rivals Cagliari with the score of 4-0. They just really led the game. go away from them over there. So all of that is coming soon. As always, make sure to stay till the end of the podcast to view our Patreon segments. This week we have, of course, our Fantasy League that will be continuing. Jake has equalized and made it 4-4.
The prediction series.
The prediction series.
Yes, the Fantasy League, actually, we will not have a segment this week because the scores haven't been updated because there's still one more game left, so the match day isn't actually closed. If you are listening and you don't check the socials and you're a patron, remember that the transfer market opens as of tomorrow and you have till Friday, so you can actually make your transfers and change your players.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm hearing it as well.
Yeah.
So we're 4-4 in our prediction series, so stay till the end to see our predictions for next week. And also for a voice note from our latest patron, actually, Aman, who will be speaking to us about Verona. Perfect timing due to the sacking of Zanetti. Very excited for that. But brother, I believe we can jump to the first game. Nick, give us a scream, brother.
There we go.
Yes.
A bit more. One more. There we
this
go.
Is unfortunately Nick's final scream on Serie A Spotlight. He has handed in his notice.
Yeah.
So
we walked in on him doing some really weird stuff.
Yep. It included belts, it included lubrication, it included the lot.
I was not in the Epstein files.
Nick was not in the Epstein files.
Not yet.
But Malta was mentioned 28 times, by the way.
And Milan were mentioned.
And Milan were also
mentioned. And there's
mentioned.
a whole slideshow.
But let me go back to saying thanks to Nick for everything that he's done for us over the past couple of months. Nick will always be remembered on Serie A Spotlight, as I'm sure all of you will remember him. This is very early days for us, and Nick really helped us establish especially our YouTube content and kind of forming the way we want that to be, our formats on socials, giving us a bit more of an identity and giving us a bit more of a structure. And the thing I like the most about Nick is how he always figured shit out. We had so many things go wrong. Every single episode, it's really, I know it looks simple, mics and camera, but there's so much that can go wrong, and Nick was always there swearing his fucking ass off, but getting it done. Nick, we'll get you on at the end to say some words to our beautiful listeners. We love you, man.
Yeah, we love you, bro. God rest your soul.
But anyway, we have a fucking job to do now, man.
Let's get in. So welcome Aman, by the way, latest patron. We've got an influx of Hellas Verona fans, so that's very exciting.
Yes.
But yes, let's jump straight into this. We have Cremonese 0, Inter 2 to start off with. Inter just look absolutely unstoppable in the league right now. The momentum they've gained is mental. This was just back business as usual in Cremona with a 2-0 victory. Cremonese's last goal scored came back on the 8th of January. Gentle reminder that it's the 3rd of February, of course, so it's been a while. That goal was scored by Jamie Vardy, and this stretch continues.
My God.
And just to make that even tougher for Cremonese coming into this match, no team in Europe's top 5 leagues has achieved more clean sheets than Inter away from home this season.
Madonna.
Yeah, so it was always going to be a tough feat. I believe it is 8 clean sheets. 9 now with this one, and Lazio actually have 8 away from home in this disaster of a season. So that's quite interesting as well. Yes, but lineup reads. So we have Sommer in goal for Inter in their 3-5-2 formation with Bastoni, Akanji and Bissek at the back, Di Marco and Henrique playing on the wings with Sucic, Zielinski and Frattesi in the middle. Rare start for Frattesi, of course, just as the market rumors started. He gets a start himself. Lautaro and Esposito starting together up front. As for Cremonese, it was Audero in goal. We'll talk about him very soon. Foligno, Baschirotto and Ceccherini were at the back with Terracciano and Pezzella on the wings. Zerbin, Grassi and Male in the middle with Bonazzoli and Jamie Vardy playing together up front. So Lautaro opened the scoring with a free header from a Di Marco corner after 16 minutes, which was absolutely unbelievable that Lautaro is in that much space. I guess that's zonal marking and what it does for you. While Zielinski doubled the lead with a stunning long-range strike that swerved through Audero's arms just after half an hour. The only real drama this game came in the second half, of course, the beginning of the second half, and you can't actually see this in the highlights, so if you missed it, you're going to have to actually look for it on Twitter or online, but it was absolutely bizarre. A firework exploded next to Audero. So you're just watching the game, and Audero's slightly out of frame. Then like the ball is on the other end of the screen, and you hear and the camera just pans left, and you see where Audero is just go up in smoke. And Audero just vanishes for a split second, and then you see him on the floor. It was terrifying, to be honest with you.
It was really scary.
It was.
Really scary.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss that now, or are you still going to the play-by-play?
We can't discuss it because the second half practically was just game management by Inter. They made smart substitutions, rotations. They managed the game really well. They won this game in the first half. Inter.
Yeah, completely agreed. And Inter have a tendency of doing that. They smell blood. They get the goals when they're having a good period in the game, and then they're capable of shutting up shop and just controlling possession and the tempo. That thing, however, we went on a rant recently. I posted a snippet about it, did pretty well, where we criticized Patrick Kendrick for saying this fight is a bad ad for Serie A because there were a couple of players that were being competitive and they shoved each other. No, brother, this is a bad ad for Serie A. This is an awful ad for Serie A because not only is it, and none of it makes the situation any better or worse, right? But it's not even like Inter were losing or they're having a frustrating game or they're playing against Juve or Milan or whatever. They're having a clean 2-0 victory over Cremonese in Cremona, and they just decided to this one individual decided to throw a firework at the goalkeeper, to assault the goalkeeper. It's not like it was the Derby della Madonnina. It's not like it was a final. It was a normal standard 2-0
But
victory.
what difference does it make
over
exactly if it's the
Cremonese?
Derby?
Because one of them typically involves violent atmospheres, fans going at each other's throats because it's super competitive and it ends up boiling over into the pitch. In this case, it was nothing of the sort. It wasn't even. There was no competition. It was a normal game of football. Inter were winning 2-0. It makes it even more bizarre.
Yeah, fair. It was just, to be honest, unacceptable. I mean, I think now the fans have been given a 3 away match ban, right?
Yeah.
So they can't actually attend away matches, which sucks for Inter, let's be real, and it sucks for the fans who behaved. Apparently, the reports say that the Inter fans were extremely upset with him, and even I don't know, like they disagreed with his action and they told him off in the moment. But then I saw reports as well that he actually lost 3
fingers.
Now this must have been a separate incident because this firework exploded when it was on the pitch near Audero. It exploded next to his leg, and in fact it scratched him and he was bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can't understand how he lost 3 fingers. What happened?
There's a part of me. There's a part of me that doesn't believe it. If it did happen, like it could have happened to the goalkeeper. You know what I mean? He could have caused that harm to other people. So if anyone, should have gotten it, then it's the guy that was gonna do it. We've met Inter fans. We've been in a stadium in the Mape surrounded by Inter fans, and we were in our Sassuolo kits taunting them and whatever, being pieces of shit, and they were absolutely lovely.
They were very welcoming. I remember
really
Berardi had scored the penalty first on, and we were with Mintoff. Shout out Mintoff, a friend of ours, and he loves Sassuolo, and he went mental when Berardi shouting, and we're surrounded by Inter fans because of course there's absolutely no, Sassuolo fans hardly exist nowadays. You see 7 on the screen, back then nothing. And all the Inter fans around us were smiling at us, going calm down, and then some were even saying enjoy, we're coming, our time will come.
You remember at the end, because they left, Sassuolo left caps everywhere, Sassuolo caps, and for some reason we didn't have one on ours, and the Inter fans handed us the ones they had on their seats.
Very nice dudes. But absolutely unacceptable, and stadium security needs to be improved, unfortunately. It feels like every single game I watch of Serie A, you hear this random explosion happening in the background.
Hey man, it's awful. I do want to give a special shout out to Audero, not because he was attacked, but
what a profession.
What an absolute profession. And just to drill this point home as well, I found it bizarre how the game just went on.
I found it bizarre how he stayed in goal as well.
Essentially, somewhat with those guys behind him.
Yeah.
Essentially, someone was not essentially, but a footballer was assaulted on the pitch, as there were thousands and thousands of people around them in attendance.
Yeah.
I just found it bizarre how it just went on business as usual, like nothing, like a bomb wasn't just thrown onto the pitch, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, not most, but I feel like in many leagues that would have been abandoned, right?
I think so. And I wouldn't have blamed Cremonese if they walked out.
Of course. It was absolutely bizarre. But yes, just to get back into the football a little bit, shout out to out there on his professionalism. Absolutely incredible how he stayed on. But yes, Cremonese did try to push late. Zerbin hit the post at one point, but it was Inter who controlled the match and saw it out quite comfortably. I think one of the best moments, apart from Zerbin's moment for Cremonese, was when Vardy was played through. I believe it was Bonazzoli who played him through. And he took the heaviest touch, man. Like, he took a touch so heavy that Sommer managed to rush out and beat him to the ball. And you would think that someone with the experience of Jamie Vardy would know exactly how much weight to put on that, right?
Yes, there's a part of me that thinks Jamie Vardy 3 years ago, 2 years ago would have gotten that, and maybe he thought he would.
Yeah.
A little bit overcooked. He slowed down a bit. I don't think it's that deep. I think.
It could have just been a bad touch, like, to be fair. But it's frustrating because Cremonese aren't creating many opportunities, so the one that he creates, you'd want him to take it, you know. That was such a clear chance. It was him and the keeper. Like, granted, he had a lot of ground to make up, but it was very frustrating. But yes, Inter's 3-5-2 absolutely suffocated Cremonese's build-up play. Zielinski played as a regista this game, and he controlled the tempo and dictated the play beautifully, man, to be honest with you. I'm very impressed by Zielinski playing as a regista.
And then from that position he got a goal as well, which is obviously a great little asset. But he's such a versatile midfielder. He's very technically gifted. He has great passing range. He's press resistant. A complete midfielder. Look, he's been having an insane season, and it's not like, you know, the manager has said, look, you're going to be our mezzala, you're going to be our trequartista, you're going to be our regista, and he's just been rocking with one position and getting used to it. He's been playing all over. Yeah. So it really shows the talent and the versatility of the player. So
yeah, in fact, I was going to ask you, once Çalhanoğlu's back, do you think there is a chance of Zielinski remaining in that regista position and maybe Hakan playing as more of a mezzala? Or do you feel like Hakan has that regista role completely stapled?
Oh, good question. I think they both definitely start.
Yeah.
I think they both have that starting role nailed down. No, I think Hakan remains deeper. I think because of the passing range that he has, and the Zielinski's got more flair to him, right? But then when you play Hakan closer to goal, he's got a goal in him, eh? So yes, it's a beautiful problem.
I think it's just a situation now where Hakan has played more games in that position. He's played against every team in the league in that position, so it just makes more sense to start him. You know, I mean, he's one of the best in the league in that position.
I'd want Zielinski closer to goal. I think he can carry the ball better than Hakan. I think he can beat a man better than Hakan.
He can spot a ball better than his quick thinking, I think, is better.
Yes.
Hakan needs more time on the ball.
Time on the ball, Hakan takes it, but Zielinski in the moment is more gifted.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that Di Marco and Bastoni were the heartbeat of Inter this game. They dominated through the left. They dictated the wide channels. They delivered the assist for Lautaro from that side. Of course, it was Di Marco. And they repeatedly pulled Cremonese out of shape. So Bastoni, of course, supporting with progressive runs and deep crosses. And they just controlled the tempo from the left side. Bro, this is quite rare, no, that you have a left centre back and a left wing back pulling the strings like this.
It's rare, but I feel like we've been seeing Inter do it for the past 3 years.
Absolutely, but never to this extent with Di Marco. Huh? Di Marco right now has become the heart and soul of Inter.
This
season is different to what we've seen, I think.
In Serie A, he's got 5 goals and 10 assists. We're 23 games into the season. Again, just looking back at last season, we're talking about maybe Di Marco doesn't have the legs to play all the games. He can't play in all competitions. Carlos Augusto needs to play more. You were just proven wrong. DeMarco has been the best player on this Inter team. To me, he's the MVP for Inter this year. I mean, 15 goal contributions from that position is ridiculous. He's a guarantee to contribute every time he's on the pitch.
Agreed. He is absolutely sensational.
I also want to comment, bro, on Frattesi starting the game. I just feel like every time Frattesi finally gets close on leaving Inter, where he could go somewhere and develop and get more playing time, because he's still a relatively young midfielder, they start him for 2 games and then it's back to square one. And I just feel like Frattesi is acting like he's that guy that keeps taking his ex-girlfriend back, even though she's super toxic and she's been cheating on him.
No, but this time it's different, baby.
Exactly.
No, it's Kivu promised him. He said, we have a long stretch of games coming in and you're going to get your moments. And to be honest, I don't doubt that. And I wouldn't blame Frattesi for wanting to stay as opposed to going to Nottingham Forest, because
he's playing Champions League.
He's
scoring in the semi-final against Barca,
Exactly. So I don't exactly blame him for giving it a shot. Plus, Inter finished, 10th in the Champions League group. So that means that they didn't qualify for automatic playoff, which means they have 2 extra games over there. It's going to get super crammed soon, and they're going to need all hands on deck, and hopefully Frattesi can actually do something for them.
Yes, sir.
Cremonese, man, have a massive problem when it comes to building up play. They haven't scored in ages. Sucic and Frattesi destroyed every attempt of Cremonese building up play with their high press, and they forced turnovers really high. They were dangerous, to be honest, when they went directly to Vardy. That's it.
Yeah.
That one time, or the few times they used Zerbin as an outlet.
And it's been the case. I mean, if you look at their past 10 games, I mean, they got 2 goals in the game against Cagliari at home. Otherwise, I think those are the only 2 goals they scored this year, man. They've really, this is a complete free fall by Cremonese, who haven't won a game since, let me just get you the official date for that, since the 7th of December in their 2-0 win against Lecce. They actually went back-to-back there. They had just beaten Bologna with the score of 3-1. Look, this was never going to be, a season where Cremonese were going to start strong and just dominate. What I would hope that Cremonese would have done in the first half of the season is to rack up enough points to not be considered as relegation candidates. I don't think they've done that, though. They're on 23 points. Fiorentina and 18th are on 17, so there's 6 points from the drop. There's still some breathing room. They do need to start getting some wins immediately, but it's not like the fixture schedule is gonna get any easier. I feel like all teams get 10% harder to play against as the season progresses.
Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly. They have addressed the issues and dipped into the transfer market. We will actually be telling you all the acquisitions, guys, that have been made during this winter market. Cremonese brought in Juric from Parma, Male from Lecce, Thorsby from Genoa, and Luperto from Cagliari. Talk about supporting local.
So supporting local and getting players that are used to a relegation dogfight, man. Those are good signings.
I like Male a lot. I think he can do a shift and actually help in their build up. Luperto, I am so confused as to how or why he would want to do this.
Weird.
Right.
He's starting every game for Cagliari.
Yeah. And he's good. He's doing well. I don't know. I mean,
he almost scored from 30 yards.
Luperto Basquerotto sounds pretty good, to be honest. But I think it could be something to do with Cagliari bringing back Dossena from Como. I don't know if that happened before or after. It just seems like a weird lateral move, and I think it might even be a downward move because Cagliari are really good right now.
Yeah, they're flying, man. 3 wins in a row.
Thorsby and Juric might make Cremonese a set-piece threat, because we're talking about 2 of the best heads in the game, 2 of the best heads in the league.
Yep.
Speaking of heads, Mateta, we'll get them. But yes, genuinely. So keep your eyes peeled for them on set pieces, because Juric and Thorsby are extremely, extremely dangerous on those.
Yeah,
as for
point.
Inter, by the way, on the market, They brought in Jakirovic from Dinamo Zagreb and Masolin from Modena. But I think they'll leave Masolin there till the end of the season, right? Something like that.
Would make sense.
Yeah. He's been impressing in Serie B. But yeah, to be honest, Inter stayed the same.
Yes, I mean Inter are one of the few teams that didn't really need many additions to their squad. I mean, really didn't need any. They've got 4 very gifted strikers. They've got like 5 central midfielders.
Exactly. They don't really need
Maybe
much.
it's interesting that they've shown faith in Luis Enrique. They could have gone for a Dodo or something like that at right wing back, but
Yeah, I think that would have been the position to strengthen. However, I do
and the goalkeeping area, right?
Maybe they're gonna give faith to Martinez, show faith in Martinez. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, this was a massive victory for Inter, putting all the pressure on their city rivals. Milan, of course, they are currently in first with 55 points, while Milan are in second with a game in hand with 47 points. If Milan win, of course, they will take it to a 5-point gap from the top. Do not get it twisted, though. I don't think that it's Milan have to win tonight or the Scudetto race is over. We've just talked about how crowded the fixture list is going to get and how difficult those Champions League games are going to suddenly become, and how teams in the second half of the season domestically tend to improve. So there can be a lot of twists coming up in the league as well. Because I'm hearing many people saying, like, if Milan don't beat Bologna, the Scudetto is done.
It's a big blow.
That's not how it works.
It is a big blow.
It's a big
Milan
blow.
If Milan don't win, and I mean, decreases the chances. We're not seeing Inter dropping many points, but like you said, the fixtures is going to get way tighter.
Exactly.
I don't feel like Milan have reaped the benefits yet of only playing once a week. I think that is going to start happening very soon.
Because
it's
the problem
February, you see that happening.
Milan are playing once a week, but the injuries have been relentless.
Exactly. Let's jump to Napoli 2, Fiorentina 1. Bro, an important win for Napoli, as they're already being counted out in the Scudetto talk, so good win for them over here, especially just after coming off their Champions League exit after they lost 3-2 against Chelsea, and they were also coming off a 3-0 loss to Juve in the league. Was it? Yes, it was 3-2 against Chelsea, and they lost 3-0 to Juve in the league. They were absolutely decimated with injuries at the moment. Poor old Napoli. They missed Rahmani, Politano, Neres, Anguissa, Gilmore, KDB, Mazzocchi, and Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. That's a starting 11, bro, right there. That's crazy. Fiorentina are back to losing ways. A loss here and coming off a home loss to Cagliari and a midweek Coppa Italia loss to Como. They missed Sabiri and Lamptey, but they do have many players that just aren't at 100%. There's Keane, there's Piccoli, there's Parisi, and probably a few more. The previous encounter between these two sides was Napoli 3-1 away victory. Napoli lined up in their 3-4-2-1 formation with Alex Meret in goal, backline of Juan Jesus, Buongiorno and Di Lorenzo. Spina was on the left with Gutierrez on the right, double pivot of McTominay and Lobotka, with Elmas and Vergara playing behind the Rasmus Højlund. 4-1-4-1 formation for Vanoli's men, De Gea on goal, backline of Dodo, Komuzzo, Pongracic and Gosens. Fagioli was the regista with Solomon on the right, Goodmanson on the left, double pivot. Well, not a double pivot. Fabian and Brescianini in midfield with Piccoli as the lone striker. So Napoli made it 1-0 in the 11th minute. It was Vergara who sprinted onto a long Meret ball as Højlund held off Pongracic expertly, and he beat De Gea 1-on-1 for his first Serie A goal, just after grabbing his first club goal for Napoli last week against Chelsea. And what a fucking goal that was. That's one of the goals you don't really see anymore. It's like that almost reminds you of when you're playing a five-a-side with your friends or when you're playing football in the streets. It was that kind of goal.
The
Vergara against Chelsea.
Yes,
against
when he spun, right?
Exactly.
That was so good, man.
So
that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
The control he had of the ball and of his body.
It's such a shame that they didn't win that, man.
Right.
Of course, Chelsea are a tough gig, but they played with so much spirit, and it just makes you kind of say, okay, they gave it their all. But then you remember the games where they didn't show up, the games they should have won.
Yeah.
Those were the games they had
exactly.
to win.
Just a few seconds later, there were a few close calls. There was Højlund, McTominay, Comuzzo and De Gea all scrambled on the line. Napoli failed to double the lead. There was an interesting block by Comuzzo on the line, and then he kicked the ball himself into his own post, which I found really interesting. It was literally... I think he was just in a flow state, and that's what his body did. I don't think there was much rationale.
I think that's what Cambiaso must have tried to do.
Right, we'll get to that. 26th minute, Fiorentina had a chance. There was a great header by Piccoli just off the post. He rose so well. He had such a good head to the ball, Piccoli. But he could only hit the post, and then the rebound from Goodmanson was saved brilliantly by Meret. There's another concerning moment for Napoli over here, as they still led 1-0, but Di Lorenzo went off injured around the 30th minute as his knee buckled during play. He was stretchered off and replaced by Mattias Oliveira. Conte after the game was just hilarious. He was like, he definitely did his ACL. And they're like, whoa. Conte, did he actually do his ACL? He's like, probably, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't do his ACL at all, and he'll be back soon.
This is a knee injury. You know,
Exactly.
this is his first knee injury or any type of injury, apart from so last season. No, actually, that becomes 2 seasons ago. 23-24 is 2 seasons ago. That's weird.
Crazy.
He had the stomach flu and he missed 3 days. But before that, the last time he was unavailable for 38 days was in 2022.
Damn, man.
In March
He's like
2022.
one of those crossbreed chihuahuas that live until they're like 27, man.
If you want to make an immortal person, you just combine Di Lorenzo and Ozzy Osbourne's DNA.
Exactly.
Ozzy Osbourne.
And what you'll get is our 19-year-old chihuahua bully.
Exactly.
Blind, dementia.
Exactly. His
no
knees
death.
are too weak for him to actually take a shit comfortably, but he always looks like he's like breakdancing every time he does, but poor bully, man.
Yeah, poor bully. He's doing well, man. 49th minute, Napoli make it 2-0. Vergara spread the ball to Gutierrez, who curled a left-footed finish into the far bottom corner for his first goal of the season, I have to say. Gosens completely disrespected Gutierrez over here. He just kept backing up. He's like, what are you going to cut in? What are you going to do if you cut in? He cut in and he scored an absolute worldie. So in your face for that, Gosens, I guess. It was awful defending. No attempt to win the ball, just backing up.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Forest bid.
Yeah.
It was Forest actually bid for Gosens as well, but he turned it down and says, I'm here to save Fiorentina.
Fantastic. A German there to save Italy. 58th minute, Fiorentina made it 2-1. It was Solomon who slotted in after Piccoli's saved effort from Dodo's pass. That's the first goal for the new signing. Fiorentina were looking for the equalizer, but they just simply didn't do enough over here. I want to instantly talk about Vergara. What a week Vergara has had. He's 23 years old. I mean, when I found out his age, I was expecting him to be younger, just because he hasn't been around for long at all. But 2 goals in 4 days, man. He is a rising star, and everyone's talking about Nazionale. Obviously, it's still early days, but he has the talent.
He does, and he has the mentality as well. It seems, because at 23, you constantly have this idea in your head when you're part of a squad that you've never featured, and you're like, I haven't played yet. You know, I've gone out on loan to Reggiana. You know, I haven't like had a sniff here. I'm probably going to be sold. Where's my career going? I don't have much playing time. So just to be able to beat these mental hurdles when you're eventually given a chance to hit the ground running in the way he did, and to have to perform on the biggest stages. We're talking game against Chelsea and then a game against Fiorentina, who are literally fighting for their lives. I think he has literally taken this opportunity by the neck and just made it his own.
And that's a good point that you make, just pretty much about Napoli in general. Like, they just got knocked out of the Champions League, which opens a conversation about Conte as well, about how he sucks at knockout competitions. He's never won the Coppa Italia in his managerial career. it seems like he just simply can't get out of the Champions League group stages, even when they extended it and made it like everyone and their dog can qualify, and he still doesn't manage. But I do respect Napoli, because Fiorentina isn't an easy game. I do respect them when they have the amount of injuries that they have, when they're on a bad run of form, including a midweek loss to Chelsea and a 3-0 loss to Juve, to come back and essentially in the 49th minute be 2 goals up. It shows a really professional attitude from their players, and when you're going through a tough spell, this is the kind of thing that stops you from going on a 5-6 game streak without a win, these kind of professionals.
Yes, for sure, man. They definitely have a good mentality, and I mean, Conte is if he's one thing, he's a motivator, right? Now the whole knockout competition thing, it's true, his record doesn't look good, quite frankly, and it's not good. It's not good, no, but it's bad, quite frankly, and he's a domestic king, but I guess that's what you're gonna get with Conte. You're not gonna get Conte to compete on all fronts. You get Conte to win the league. Yeah, and they brought in Conte and they won the league. Now this is the season after, and the mourning's begun. And I know some Napoli fans, even in our Patreon group chat, have already started kind of like grumbling, like, come on, how much are you gonna complain, like, there's also the case that perhaps these injuries could be self-inflicted because of how hard they train and they're competing on all fronts, and maybe nothing was tweaked. In reality, from the outside, we don't know much, but we do know that he is a domestic specialist, and that's it. You know? This Champions League campaign was shocking, to be honest. How didn't they qualify? How did they do so badly? Look at the teams around them. It's ridiculous.
And there's just a bit of a kick in the teeth, because the supporters were so frustrated because 2 seasons ago they didn't make Champions League. They made Champions League, they won the Scudetto, and for what? For this? For this kind of performance in the Champions League? It's almost better because they just wasted their time, essentially. They didn't even make it out of the group stages. There's no royalties being paid to them by UEFA for doing so. It's just a big waste of time. And think about the injuries that accumulated. So I understand the frustration of any Napoli fans that are listening to us right now. Fiorentina, real quick, and then we can move on. Defensive issues, as always, for Fiorentina. The first goal that was conceded from Meret's long ball. Of course, Højlund did well, Vergara did well, but that defensive line is really high, and you can't, just because Pongracic gets blocked off by Højlund, Vergara is allowed to simply run the ball through that way. It's one long ball and they're clean through one goal, let's be honest. They are easily cut through, and this is something we've been talking about all season, to be honest, about how they don't have any defensive midfielders to help out. And you look at this game, they brought in Brescianini, okay, cool. Brescianini, Fabian Fagioli was their midfield 3. It doesn't offer the best protection ever. Højlund out-muscled one man, and Vergara was clean through, as you said. Yes, it's the same rubbish. And then I feel like Vanoli made some tactical tweaks. I mean, it was no masterclass, these tweaks. You see the thought process. So Vanoli shifted to a back 3 with Ranieri replacing Gosens and added Keane as a second striker. So he essentially moved to a 3-5-2, right? Focusing on more direct play to bypass Napoli's press, which was very violent, to be fair. The idea was to add defensive cover against Højlund, because Højlund is Lukaku 2.0 at this point, while giving Fiorentina a long ball outlet up front, though it ultimately didn't lead to an equalizer. So there was a shift, you could see that, and when Fiorentina were looking for a goal, but I mean, that's as far as they brought on Moise Keane. He had 2 shots, one of them off target. But Moise Keane barely takes a touch anymore. Every time the ball, he just has a crack, no matter where he's at, man. I'm not a fan of what I've seen so far this season. I mean, me neither, bro. Last year, I know he had a fantastic season, and even with Juve, when he wasn't scoring much, he was still playing quite well. But this season, it's as you said, he's just shooting every chance he gets, and he's lost his spot to Piccoli, it seems, which is he hasn't been 100%, to be fair, but fitness wise, at least that's what I have assumed, right? You mentioned the midfield. He's been injured, to be fair. You mentioned the midfield of Fiorentina. It's really interesting to see how much faith they have shown in Fabian and Brescianini. I think they are both very, very talented. To start them both in a game against Napoli, when they're both brand spanking new, I just find a little bit odd. It's not like they have the best midfield in the world, right? So they do need to utilize these guys. But when you see Fagioli, right, and then Fabian and Brescianini, there isn't much familiarity going on over there.
I think Fiorentina had a midweek game. Did they not?
They did.
They did against, they played Como in the Coppa Italia.
Yes.
And that game saw
same guys, no?
Fabian, Endur and Brescianini starting as well. Yes, you start Mandragora now. He's been
right.
He's been the leader in this moment.
Yes, but anyway, that's what happened over there. I mean, no surprises. Not no surprises. I think Napoli did a really good job to beat Fiorentina over here, because there's a lot to lose for both teams at the moment, but with the amount of injuries Napoli have, any normal player, any normal manager, their head would be hanging low. But Napoli are here to win the league, because they are a Conte team, and the Conte team is there to win the league, not to get bloody top 4 like everyone is saying. Their goal is top 4 now. If Conte is your manager, your goal is to win the league. Doesn't matter when, where, how, whatever.
Doesn't matter which country.
They've brought in a few players, Napoli, just to say, of course, Joe Vane from Verona and a certain Alisson from Sporting. Well, apparently there was a bit of interest around this gentleman. Whereas Fiorentina, we've of course already mentioned Brescianini and Fabian. We've of course already referenced Solomon, who has become almost a staple starter for them. But they've also signed Harrison from Leeds and Rugani from Juventus. I believe that's the most important signing. Yes. Funnily enough, right? A centre back. Yeah. But Rugani is on loan with an obligation if they avoid relegation. Right? That's to be fair, that's a powerful little tool for Fiorentina.
It is. Before we conclude this game, there was an interesting little moment where Conte was heard giving some tactics.
Yes.
Yes. He said, Rasmus, when Juan Jesus gets the ball, go deep. When Spinazzola gets the ball, stay. That's
go deep or stay? So stay high.
Yes.
Stay high when Spina has the ball.
Don't run in behind when Spinazzola has the ball. But when Juan has the ball, go in behind.
Okay. Napoli in third on 46 points. They are 9 points behind league leaders. Inter, if my maths is correct. Fiorentina still in 18th place in the relegation zone on 17 points, just 1 point behind Lecce in 17th.
Very good. We can move on to the next one. We have 1 second. Parma 1, Juventus 4. This was an absolute destruction of Parma at the Tardini Stadium, and Juve have been absolutely flying with Spalletti. They've been
amazing, bro, amazing.
Yeah. Parma, just 1 win in their last 7, not looking good for them. Cambiaso's own goal this game was Parma's first goal since the 11th of January.
Whoa!
Again, yes, quite a few teams have gone quite a few long stretches without scoring.
That would surely make him one of their top scorers this year. Cambiaso is one of Parma's top scorers this year.
Probably, right. It's Pellegrino and then Cambiaso. Juve have 5 more points now than they did at the same stage last season, which is interesting. So there has been an improvement thanks to Spallettone, as Mourinho called him that one time. Corvi was in goal for Parma in their 4-3-2-1 formation with Del Prato, Troilo, Circati and Valeri at the back. Bernabé, Caviglia and Keita were in the middle, with Oristano and Ondrejka playing behind the shoulders of Pellegrino. For Juve, it was Di Gregorio on goal with Cambiaso and Kalulu as the fullbacks, Kelly and Bremer as the centre-back partnership with a double pivot of Thuram and Locatelli. Conceição on the right, Yildiz on the left, with McKennie playing in the hole behind Jonathan David. So Bremer scored a rare brace this game. Both goals came from set pieces, with McKennie adding an acrobatic volley, and that actually that looked fucking way easier than it must have been, because he delivered that with so much grace. McKennie he made that look quite easy. It's quite difficult to do that.
Yes. Is he still dating Frattesi's sister? Go on, I'll find out.
Great question. David tapped in the 4th after Corvi spilt it into his path, and Parma only got back into the game thanks to that bizarre Cambiaso own goal that we've alluded to. I'm not sure what the hell he tried to do. It's like he tried to lift the ball with the outside of his foot, but there was his own goal opposite him, and he ended up just hoofing it into the back of the net. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Cambiaso has...
he tried to backheel the ball away.
I don't know, man. He tried to
definitely try to backheel the ball away.
Almost he tried to flick the ball over his own head. The movement. I don't know what
the
hell he was doing.
Knowing his luck and that area of the pitch, be careful.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, because that's incredibly clumsy, and Cambiaso has become so error prone.
And I want to talk about him, in fact, and we can probably do so right now. Actually, Cambiaso has everyone since Spalletti has arrived. Everyone has improved. Except for Cambiaso.
And it's a shame that there is something stopping his progress, because when we first saw Cambiaso burst onto the scene, he was versatile, he was completely ambidextrous. You could play him as a winger, you could play him as a wing back on either side. His vision and his execution of the passes puts the perfect weight on passes, especially for his age. I saw him as a nailed-on, should be a nailed-on starter, ahead of Bellanova and Di Lorenzo for the Nazionale at right wing back or at right back, whatever, because he was that good. But he has become, he still has the qualities of the vision, how ambidextrous he is, how he can play on both sides, versatility, etc. But he has become so error prone that it is not worth it. And I think Juve should explore the idea of getting rid of him. Honestly.
I mean, no shit. It's the problem is that the best offer they could possibly get has come and gone, and they didn't attack it. Plus, also, I'm not even sure if that offer actually ever arrived.
Up
the
City
one. I'm not sure if it was actually tabled. But his transfer value has definitely decreased. The problem isn't exactly with him as a player, ability-wise. His ability is good, as you said. He has a lot of positive qualities. He's extremely, what's the word, man? When you can play many different roles.
Versatility.
He's versatile. Yes, he's extremely versatile, and can seem to play his way out of trouble without any ease. But he has these problems where his brain just switches off. And it happens every game. And now it's still happening every game, man. Like these stupid, clumsy mistakes. There was one point earlier this season where he had back-to-back mistakes that led to goals as well. You know, it's been too long now, man. I feel like he needs to take that step up, man, if he wants to be a consistent starter. Because right now, eventually, they're gonna get to a point where where they look at this team and they say, who do we need to replace now? Where is the liability? Who's the weak point? His name will come up sooner rather than later.
And the thing is, it's not like, okay, people can talk about how he's low on confidence, etc., but he has every responsibility to be fully concentrated in the game, so that when a tricky ball comes in, that he adapts his positioning and does whatever he has to do to get rid of that ball, to clear the ball adequately, and not to try some fancy shit. Man, ahead in the game, I just feel like he's not completely concentrated. Concentration, 8 out of 20
out of 20
in
yes,
FM.
That's FM. Yeah.
On the note of McKennie, there are reports and rumors that they actually broke up. They started dating in 2024, and I have seen nothing about them from 2025 onwards. So it sounded like they had a beautiful burning romance for around a year, I would
Unless they lived happily ever after.
I don't know. That's a Romeo and Juliet situation. Bro, you can't even be siblings with the Juve and Inter arrangement.
Yeah.
You can't, it's illegal to be siblings according to everyone.
Yeah.
Let alone shafting one of the...
This, of course,
shafting is one way to put it.
Who didn't listen to our last episode, the Thuram, of course, controversy.
Yes.
That happened. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Spalletti's wide overloads are killing it, man, and they absolutely destroyed Parma this game. We're talking about Kalulu charging up, we're talking about Conceição getting involved, and McKennie attacking the space, and Parma's back line couldn't handle these rotations, and they would leave so much space for cutbacks and crosses, and all three of Juve's first goals came from wide pressure, all of them.
Totally, man. And I was getting confused watching the game because I was seeing Yildiz on one side, Conceição on the other. I was seeing McKennie dropping deep. I was seeing Thuram as striker. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? And it's just Spalletti has created this unpredictability to Juve. Obviously, switching out positions, overlapping, etc., etc. The switching of play has become with purpose and with pace. Yeah. It's not that Locatelli holding on to the ball and looking around and then takes 5 seconds to turn and play a slow pass to the left hand side. Everything is with purpose, it's intentional, and purpose and with intention. Yeah,
that's true. Bremer, bro, dominant in both boxes. We know how good he is defensively, but Jesus Christ, man, he was bullying those Parma centre backs.
Bullied Jonathan David as well by nicking his goal.
He stole David's goal, man.
You have to make sure of it.
You have to make sure. I'm of that opinion as well.
Exactly.
I'm not too bothered. David got one soon after, and I feel like that would help any sort of butt pain he might have had.
Yep. Butt pain is annoying.
McKennie, we talked about McKennie a little bit off air, bro, and you said something.
Yes, I said that whenever Juve have a good manager, McKennie plays well, and I think it's as simple as that.
I think we can even go as far as saying as if Juve have a good manager, or even if they have a shit manager, McKennie's always one of the most consistent ones, man.
Yeah, but I just feel like with Allegri and with Spalletti, he's on a whole new level. Like, he's the guy to get you the goal.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like with, I don't know, Pirlo and with Tudor and with these guys, he's good. He's Musa. You play him there. You play him there. Where you need someone, you put McKennie and he's good. But when he has a proper manager and a tactician and a motivator, this guy hits another level. And he's completely, in my opinion, since Spalletti has come in, it's like they have a new signing with McKennie. Completely.
That's true.
He's absolutely worthy to be in that starting 11 at the moment. And until someone does as good as McKennie has been doing in that position, I will die by that opinion.
Yeah, he is. He's very good, and he's having the season of his life, I think.
What's he gonna do? Play Cope Miners there? He shits the bed.
Yeah, he played as kind of this hybrid Mezzala second striker, arriving in the box late, very intelligent, very industrious. He presses like a monster. He creates chaos. He's good, man. This was one of his best games, I think, this season.
Absolutely. So far. Before I get back to this episode, a special shout out goes to our media partners, Benevo Bid. Woo! Check out our link in bio to bid on autographed items from top players, including match-issued kits. And if you question the authenticity, I invite you to check out their Instagram, where you could actually see the players signing off.
And the best part, most of the proceeds go to charity, and it is the vast majority of proceeds that actually do go to charity. So click our link in our bio to help make a difference and to upgrade your collection.
I agree. Shout out McKennie. I also like him.
Same here.
Seems like a chill guy.
Before I make my last point, Yildiz went off injured. I don't know if you can find an update on that in the meantime. And I want to talk a little bit about Conceição. Conceição is very electric, man, but he's so wasteful at the same time. In the first 5 minutes, he missed 2 good opportunities. Does that concern you? Like with players like Conceição, do you value the output, or do you say that this guy is just like an agent of chaos who is a fantastic one-on-one dribbler who's capable of just taking on a man and creating havoc inside the box, and we'll take him for what he is without the output?
Yeah, so it doesn't concern me. I think you know what you're getting, and I think if you judge him by his output, then look, he's good for Juve when Juve aren't creating shit, and he can go on one of his marauding grunts. He can cut inside and slot between 2-3 defenders because he has such a good center of gravity, kind of like Eden Hazard had, where he could really easily pivot between defenders and just create chaos. If he's in a clear goal scoring situation, he might not score. It's more likely he won't score than he will score. Do Juve need someone who's capable of doing it all in an ideal world? Absolutely. But he's a master of chaos.
Yes.
And, if he were to improve his goal-scoring abilities, then it'll be a big problem for most teams in Serie A, because he really is a chaotic player, and he gets himself into those situations, man.
Yeah. He's like the final form of Lamek Banda.
Exactly. But you have to take him for what he is. At this current point, he's no goal scorer.
But he definitely serves a purpose, and the fact that the players around him are quite competent at finishing, or have become rather quite competent at finishing, I think you get away with having a player like that, and actually it ends up being an advantage.
Exactly. I'm gonna do this. It's fucking boiling in here, though.
Yeah.
I didn't iron the shirt under this.
Oh God, guys, you're about to see Matthew's creases.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yes.
What?
All right.
Yes, we have to get to the signings, because Juve made 2 interesting signings.
Yes, very interesting.
The first one being Jeremy Boga, who we remember at Sassuolo, but they brought him in from Nice, and the idea is to give Yildiz some relief.
It's needed, bro. It's needed.
Did you find anything on his injury?
It's nothing serious. Yildiz has not suffered a serious injury, and he is featured only for the first half of Juve's weekend match against Parma, with concerns quickly emerging that he may have suffered a serious injury, but nothing of the sort.
Nothing, okay.
No.
Yes, they brought in Boga to give him some relief. Boga, of course, as we know, was a very capable dribbler. He was an incredible dribbler in the league as well, and apparently he has maintained this reputation. De Zerbi said, I believe, that there's after Messi, Boga is the best dribbler.
Who said this?
De Zerbi.
De Zerbi loved Boga. De Zerbi signed Boga and Boateng literally just for the sequence of Boateng arriving late into the box and Boga pulling the ball back.
Yeah, they've also signed Emil Holm from Bologna and sent João Mario the other way.
Man, I didn't know Juve moved like this. These are 2 really cool signings. These are 2 these are signings that, I don't know, Milan or Bologna would make. You know what I mean?
They're intelligent signings, to be honest.
They're
sharp and local. They know the league, both players. Holm, since he's had his tooth removed, has stopped getting muscle injuries, apparently. That's actually a thing. Look it up. Holm isn't a fantastic player. He's not flashy. He is just a very strong and powerful and athletic and physically fit fullback that can bomb up and down and has a knack for actually scoring goals as well when he gets some rhythm. So that's going to be an interesting option.
It's also a good little Holm is a really good little boutique hotel in St. Julian's with a lovely spa. You should go check it out. This isn't sponsored, but it's really nice.
It also means dreams in Maltese.
Yeah, which is why the spa is called that. But anyway,
Parma have also made some moves. They've brought in Carboni from Empoli.
Did they make this move, bro? If you're not watching on video, what are you doing?
Yeah, we've missed a good one. Do it again. Elaborate a bit.
So, I don't know what there is to elaborate on. So basically, what I'm doing
elaborate
is
on the move.
Okay. So there's that. You bring it back. You bring it back. Then what's that?
There we go.
It's really good.
You pull it out. Have it.
Then exactly. Yes.
Okay. For our audio listeners, get on that video.
Yep, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm doing.
Listen to this, Parma. How cool. Questa's new toys. Carboni from Empoli. Nice. Nicolucci
Can I ask you which Carboni it is?
That's a great question.
Great question, because it's either the defender.
So it's not the Genoa one. It's the defender, I assume. So not the Valentine. But yeah, you can confirm that. Nicolucci Caviglia from Fiorentina. Really cool. Parma really prioritize set pieces, and Nicolucci can take a good one. El Fege from Grenoble.
What, bro?
They got El Fege, nor El Fege. El Fege from Grenoble. Come on. And Strefezza from Olympiacos.
No way,
yes,
bro.
Dude. Yes.
Go on, Parma.
Yes, I think these are some very interesting signings.
Franco Carboni, the defender, of course.
Yes. But yes, interesting. Let's move on to their position
Yep.
in the table. And that leaves that takes Juve up to 4th with 45 points. That's 2 points ahead of Roma in 5th, while Parma are in 16th with 23 points, 6 points off the drop.
Yes, man. Juve moving up to 4th in very convincing fashion, as Roma bowed down to 5th in very convincing fashion with a 1-0 loss to Udinese.
On a Monday night.
I feel like Roma fans, if there are many Roma fans listening, I listen to your podcasts loads, and I particularly enjoy them because I feel like they're fans with their of course we're gonna lose, it's a Monday night, we either concede bangers or really scrappy goals. I feel like there's a lot of similarities in the misfortune of Roma and Milan. Of course, Milan definitely the more successful club. I mean, there's no debate over there. No, honestly.
Yes,
but
yes.
our misfortune is really similar. We concede that Bruno Alves free kick in the last minute
On
on
Monday
Monday
against
night
Parma.
against
Fucking
Parma.
hell,
You know, it's that kind of thing. But
Brignoli was the worst, man.
Monday night in Udine for Roma. And like I was listening to a Roma podcast. Oh God, I really want to give him a shout out. Cesco was on his podcast before. The Roma Theory.
Ah,
The
Roma Theory.
Roma Theory. Shout out. Go
Cesco,
listen.
our patron, was on that podcast and he forgot to wear pants.
Yes, which is normal, but don't stand up, bro. I'd like, I don't know, make sure you get all the piss stains off before you. It's a fact, hey. Everyone saw it. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So I feel like we have the same depressive quality, Roma fans and Milan fans. But this was a Monday night in Udine. I was listening to the Roma fans saying, of course, we aren't going to win this game. This is Udinese's 9th win in 23 games. We are not used to that. That would have typically been their 19th draw in 23 games. They're coming off a 3-1 away win over Verona. They miss Piotrowski, Kamara, Buxa, Modesto and Zanoli to an ACL injury. Shit. But Zaniolo made the bench. Of course he made the bench because they're playing against Roma, who are his ex-club. Roma were coming off a 1-1 draw to Milan, but they were the better team. Missing Kone, Dovbik, Dybala, Ferguson, Rensch and El Shaarawy. That is, I'm just going to repeat that. Kone, Dovbik, Dybala, Ferguson, Rensch and El Shaarawy. Previous encounter between these two sides was a 2-0 Roma win. Udinese played in a 3-4-2-1 formation, really tactically versatile. Runjaic this year, 4 at the back, 3 in the back, 3-5-2, 3-4-3. Okoye in goal, backline of Bertola, Christensen and Solé. Zemura on the left, Ezibwe on the right. Double pivot of Miller and Karlstrom with Atta and Eklinkamp playing behind Davis. Also a 3-4-2-1 for Gasperini's men's Villar in goal, backline of Mancini, Indica and Hermoso. Zeki Celik on the right, Wesley on the left, double pivot of Cristante and El Ainawi, with Solé and Pellegrini playing behind Malin. So in the first half, let's say it as it is, Udinese dominated the first half. Atta, Eklinkamp and Miller all had attempts. I wouldn't say that they were clear-cut attempts or really close, but they had a few shots, and Roma were largely absent in this period. Villar made 2 early saves on Atta and Eklinkamp. Mancini and Dicao were absolutely crucial in defensive interventions. So Udinese did need a stroke of luck, and the stroke of luck is what they got in the 49th minute as Ekelinkamp's free kick deflected in off of Malin to make it 1-0 to Udinese. Shortly after that, unfortunately, Keenan Davis did go off injured and he left the pitch in tears. Absolutely devastated for him. Jake, can you please check the status of that injury, see how dire it is? Because he looked devastated.
It looked like a pull, because
he's been having a really good season, Keenan Davis.
He was inconsolable.
Yeah, we'll see. Jake will give us an update. Jake Fenech on the case.
Jake live.
Roma pushed for an equalizer late, but were repeatedly frustrated by Okoye. Shout out Okoye, because we make fun of him loads on this pod, including a 97th minute fingertip save on Mancini, and then the 90th minute Cristante had a goal disallowed for offside after a Tsimikas assist. But onto the talking points.
Okoye is mental, man. Okoye is, by mental I don't mean the slang term for good. I mean he's actually like insane. He's crazy. Like it will be like there was one point where this shot came towards him that he could have literally just bent down and picked up.
Yep.
It was rolling. Instead, he gets on the floor and kicks it randomly, like into danger. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I just picture like when he was a kid and his dad would tell him like, can you like take the garbage out or something, and he just does it super weirdly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like you were as a kid.
I guess me and Okoye would have a lot of similarities.
Exactly.
He'd have
Yeah, you're both 6'5" and shredded.
Yes, yes. Just one of us doesn't have any scandals.
Yeah. Ahoy!
Alright.
Oi!
Yes. Davis's tests are scheduled. It's still too early. This happened yesterday. He touched his left adductor,
God,
a muscle he's never injured before. But he looked
But
convinced.
the adductor, I talked about the adductor yesterday. You know, me as a qualified physiotherapist. I just literally, I looked up the adductor and football injuries and whatever, because I was at the gym doing adductors and abductors, and this guy came up to me. I'm going to say it unfiltered. This guy came up to me and went, well, you're either a footballer or you're gay if you're doing those.
And boy, was he right.
Both of them.
That's hilarious. This guy doesn't know you.
Never. No, I'm lying. I would have spoken to him like 2-3 times.
Hilarious.
It's a brilliant comment.
Hilarious.
He's the guy that sold us the microphone. The third microphone that had the blue eyes. Yep, lasted really long, bro, that one.
Shout out the guy who ripped that off.
Roma came into this game looking to reclaim third place, but instead they slipped to fifth, 2 points behind fourth place Juventus. Bro, just an open-ended question, because I heard Roma Theory speak about this today. Roma, as they are this season, as they've been performing this season, their starting 11, everything involved, are they good enough for top 4?
That's an interesting question, bro. I certainly think that fully fit, they're good enough. The problem is when they aren't, right? For example, this game, we saw that they had quite a few players out. In fact, the only players they could turn to as goal scoring options were Venturino and Arena, who are both very young. Arena being only 16 or 17, and Venturino, of course, still a teenager as well. I thought personally that this game, just to give a bit of context to it, Roma were a little bit too defensive. I felt like Gasperini came into this game worrying more about losing than wanting to win.
Absolutely.
And you could see it in the build-up phase of the game. They would have 5-6 players in their own half. No wonder Marlon is isolated up front. And I have to say they have a gem in that Wesley, because despite being quite low in the pitch, Wesley would drive up and down tirelessly, and it feels like every single action he would partake in would either win them a corner or a throw-in or a free kick. He's so industrious and hard-working and impressive, man, to be honest with you.
No, he is.
So,
he's
very impressed by him.
He's incredibly impressive, Wesley. And he did exactly what you're saying. I mean, look, Roma did set up too defensively in this case. Firstly, I agree with your point. I think fully fit, Roma could be worthy for top 4. I just think with the way Juve are doing at the moment, since they got Spalletti and whatever, they're inferior to the remaining big teams. They don't get results against big teams. So how can I sit? And they're inconsistent against the small ones as well. So I can't sit here and confidently say, look, Roma are worthy of top 4 of Champions League, etc. I hope, because I think with a few good signings, people that can properly attack the channels, a replacement for Dybala, I know it sounds bizarre saying that, and a good midfield signing, I think next season they can actually do well in the Champions League. So if there are 5 slots this year, which I think there is a possibility, tricky fixtures but not impossible for Italy. So I think they're a work in progress, and this is, you know, it's their first season under Gasperini, and they haven't been settled with a manager for ages. De Rossi had a small spell, Juric had a small spell, De Rossi had a small spell. This is the start finally of a project, so it's still a step in the right direction for them.
Indeed it is, bro. I can compare their season kind of right now to their situation right now to Napoli's. Of course, Napoli's being much worse injury-wise. I think that might be a big factor, man, going into it. Napoli crashed out of Europe. Perhaps that is the thing that gets them top 4 this season. You never know. You know, Roma are still taking part in the Europa League, so their fixtures will be quite busy. What was their overall finish in the end, in the stage, in the table? Let's have a look.
If you can find that out, all I do know is that they had you spoke about them playing
8th automatic qualification.
Amazing.
Massive for them.
There is an argument to be made that they should put more eggs in the Europa League basket, because it's a good. He's won it before, and it's a good way for them to make Champions League. But anyway, you mentioned that they played too defensive. I do agree that Roma have been too defensive this season, and I'm sure it's the influence from Ranieri and not Gasperini, because we know how both those guys play. That being said, they played against Panathinaikos earlier this week with 10 men for 75 minutes. So I think being defensive and trying to manage a Monday night game against Udinese isn't crazy by any stretch of the imagination. But Roma are incapable of scoring goals with ease. Every goal they score, it's like they need to backpack across all of Southeast Asia and do weird things, whatever, to get there. So it was essentially a low block setup. Hermoso looked like he was playing on left back, and then Ghilardi replaced him later in the Can Mancini central, of course. No clear-cut chances really for them, but it did again take a stroke of luck for Udinese to win the game. Shout out to Okoye, who made that possible for them with some brilliant saves, and shout out to Eklinkamp
and Atta. For me, Atta was the best player on the pitch. And
fair enough.
And the stadium, the Udinese stadium, was popping, bro. It was packed with people, and you can just
beautiful
see
stadium,
Atta.
by the way.
It is a nice stadium, and Tim said on the WhatsApp chat, he's like, I don't know why, but good stadiums make me so happy. Like, fucking right, dude.
Hell yeah.
We interrupt this program because our analytics show us that a bunch of you cheeky monkeys are listening to us weekly without dropping us a like, a follow, or a rating. So please go bananas and
follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and drop us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us grow and keep bringing you weekly content.
Quit monkeying around. We're the only English-speaking Serie A podcast that do weekly episodes covering every single match, every single team, every single week.
If you really love us and want an ad-free experience, become a patron. It's only $3.99 a month, and you'll be added to a group chat with 50+ like-minded legends, join our fantasy league, and even win a free kit of your choice for winning the league.
So come on, chimp out with us. Atta was feeling the occasion, man. He was playing with this arrogance, with this almost like poetic license to try a dribble when you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? And he's bloody dangerous, and he is really good, and he's bloody way too dangerous. Good to be playing. He's bloody dangerous. He's
a boy.
He's just too good. He's too good to be playing for Udinese. I think he's probably gonna be one of the first to leave next season. And also, man, honestly, they have a team that's very talented. Zamora had some nice moments. Miller is bloody good as well. He's only 18 years old, and he fits into that midfield slot so intelligently. There was one moment where he played the line. He called for a long ball over the top and like moved beyond the defensive line of Roma and caught them off guard, and then he managed to turn and shoot, and he got it off target. But you see, Runjaic was like and applauding, so you could tell like Runjaic is constantly blown away by this guy, you know.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, and he's probably technically their best player. With that said, Eklinkamp, man, though, he's clutch. He's on every set piece that they have. He was the same last year. That's why I took him on Fanta this year, because the guy gets you clutch goals. And a game like this, I mean, since he's been put in the starting 11, he's constantly been getting involved in these goals. And for a team like Udinese, who we've seen them historically over the past 3 years since we've had the pod, 5 years, whatever, a team that struggles to get goals, a team that would rather hold shape, hold fort, physicality, as they have really, like that's Udinese's identity. Someone like Eklinkamp is capable. They win a free kick, Eklinkamp gets it into the back of the net, albeit this one was a huge deflection. Let's go through the signings of these two teams, because I really want to make sure we're in time for the Milan game. Udinese have signed Arizala from Independiente Medellin. So I believe Medellin is from Colombia. So welcome Arizala. And
bless you, Nick.
Bless you, God. Mlacic from Dinamo Zagreb, whatever. Roma have signed Robinho Vaz from Marseille.
Oh my God, Robinho, didn't he?
Yep. Malin from Aston Villa, of course. Venturino from Genoa. If it's ringing a bell, he scored a doppietta on, I believe, the last game of the season.
You mentioned him last episode, and I think you summoned him.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
I think you summoned him.
I'm the fucking man. And everyone's apparently heard of this guy, but I'm quite sure they're confusing him with Spanish team, Zaragoza. Zaragoza is a team from Spain, but welcome, Zaragoza. He's apparently quite a tricky young winger that Roma fans seem to be really excited to watch.
Yes,
so
and now they've got two Brians.
Brian Zaragoza and Brian Cristante.
Fucking right, dude.
You know what you don't have? Brian Talcopies. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all. If you know, you know. If only I could bet on Mancini to get a nosebleed this game. Would have been an easy bet.
Sorry, I forgot where they stand.
He busted his nose, bro, and obviously you're gonna bust your nose against that back three, man.
Of course,
fucking
man.
Sole, Christensen, Bertola.
I will bet money that Mancini, every time he's on night out, he just headbutts someone. Roma are in 5th on 43 points, just 2 points behind Juve, who are in 4th. Whilst Udinese, you knew exactly what happened to them with there. Whilst Udinese find themselves in 9th, level on points with 8.8 placed Lazio on 32 points. Amazing season so far by Udinese. I don't feel like I gave them enough flowers, but 9 wins, 5 draws, 9 losses. This is the best we've seen of Udinese since they had that really positive start with Sotil and then just dipped for the rest of the season to his inevitable sacking.
Yeah. Very good. The next game we have is a good one. This was absolute cinema, this one.
It's not as good as my next one.
Perhaps not. I might argue with that, actually.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this game.
Como Atalanta. Fuck yes, bro.
Atalanta,
this is a great game.
What a spectacle. And for all the... Now, I had over 1 goal for this game and a slip, and it was the only one that didn't hit. It was me and Tyson.
Insane.
We made €20. Tyson is a patron.
Sorry, Tyson. I had one look at you and Tyson's slip, and I'm like, no way, bro.
It was, honestly, free money, bro, that slip.
Everything
happened immediately except for this one, which is over 1 goal. And just so I can read the XG to you, so you get an idea as to what black magic we were dealing with.
I know the XG.
5.05 XG for Como, 0.52 for Atalanta. Anyway,
take us through it, brother.
Yes, so this was the Carne Secchi show.
Carne sexy, man. Carne sexy.
Carne sexy. That's what we're gonna call it.
You know what that translates to? Sexy meat. Carne is meat in Italian. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. And
I'm looking at you like that guy at the gym was right.
Sexy meat in goal.
Yes. I'm not calling him that. So yes. Sexy meat was in goal for Atalanta and their 3-4-2-1 formation with Ahanor, Jim City and Scalvini at the back, Zappa Costa on the right, Bernasconi on the left with Ederson and Deroon in the middle, De Ketelar and Zalewski playing behind Scamacca. As for Como, it was Bute in goal with Smolcic, Ramon, Kempf and Valle at the back in their 4-2-3-1 with Perron and Acuna as a double pivot, Voivoda on the right, Baturina on the left and Nico Paz playing behind Duvikas. So Atalanta were down to 10 men immediately. Just to give you the exact time that it happened, it was in the 8th minute. Now, I believe in the 8th minute, that's when the decision was actually made, because the foul happened, I believe, in the 6th. But yes, immediately, boom, 10 men. I'm like, oh my God, I've been looking forward to this game all week. This was a game I was looking forward to stylistically. I wanted to see it. Like, I wanted to watch them figure each other out.
Originally scheduled at the same time, Bologna-Milan were supposed to play. So I saw it as like this blessing in disguise that that game was postponed. But I watched this and just still a spectacle.
It was.
But so many Como players on my Fanta that I was obviously disappointed.
Yeah. Atalanta, of course, yes, down to 10 men. Ahanor, he was sent off for shoving Perrone in an off-the-ball incident. It looked like he lashed out at his elbow. From then, it was basically Como's attack against Carne Secchi. Or Carne Sexy. Or Sexy Meat, as what he's calling him. Como dominated possession and created a pile of chances. We're talking Duvikas, we're talking Ramon, we're talking Paz, all guilty of wasteful finishing. There were 3 moments when Ramon underlapped and got into the box in a good goal scoring situation, but the angle was too tight, because Carne Secchi, when he makes a save from close range, he jumps forward. He jumps into your feet.
I see that, bro.
He jumps into your feet. He is so up close and personal. And we're talking about a goalkeeper who was fired up and feeling himself. He would dive into Ramon's feet, win the ball and throw it out for a corner, get up and scream in his face. You know what I mean? He was fucking fueled with adrenaline.
He's gas, man.
He was, and he is.
He's gas. And just a shout out to everyone that disagreed with Jake when he put Carne Secchi as his goalkeeper of the season, because either they take him Manyan. Where's Villar? On the bench for Carne Secchi.
Yes,
that's where he is.
I am a big fan of Villar, of course, but Carne Secchi for me is...
This season, come on.
He's so good. He impresses me every time. And the saves he makes are out of this world, man.
Makes them look easy as well.
Yes. And we actually had posted a TikTok of him back when we had our old account, and it was all well and good in this world.
Oh my God, 20k, baby.
I want to fly like an eagle, with that song, and like him making saves was really cool. But anyway, where was I? Yes, so Carne Secchi and Scalvini produced heroic last-ditch saves and tackles. Atalanta still threatened on the counter. In fact, Sulemana got very close. He had a very good opportunity, but it was fantastically saved by Bute as well, 2 great goalkeepers. And Kristovic as well got quite close, while Morata had one ruled off for offside. Deep into stoppage time, VAR gave Como a penalty for a handball on Scalvini. Nico Paz stepped up. He had already missed 2 out of his previous 2 penalties, but it was him who stepped up against an inspired Carne Secchi. And Carne Secchi tracked the penalty well, saved it, got up, pointed down at his genital region and just started screaming, "These
that's
2 balls!
Look at my sexy meat," he said.
And
to the entire stadium.
And yes, and they couldn't find a way around him, and the match ended, and Nico Paz was in tears.
Shout out Carne Secchi for saving the penalty, but I'm watching the game, and I see Paz stepping up to take the penalty. And I see the graphic that comes up, bro, of his last 2 penalties. Miss and miss. He's missed. He has a 100% miss rate from the spot. It's the 90th minute. You should have been 2-3 goals ahead, but their goalkeeper has been a monster. And we've seen him save penalties this season as well. How can you put a guy... The only guy on the pitch with a 100% miss rate this season for Como? How can you put him there?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre, honestly. But
was Dacunia off at that point? Yes, Dacunia was off at that point.
It just goes that Nico Paz has enough authority to do whatever the hell he wants.
But come to think of it, bro, because on the pitch there was, I think, because Dacunia was off. Morata was on. Morata was on, who you do not put Morata on penalties. He's awful at them.
Jesus Rodriguez, Kun, Sergio Roberto, I mean...
You give it to Paz. You give it to Paz.
Paz is the guy to take it in this situation.
But with a 100% missed penalty rate.
It's just very unfortunate. I don't think he'll be taking one sooner. Again, 3 out of 3 is bad. No.
Dacunia the rigorista for a reason, but he was off.
Carne Secchi... Just to put this out there, I don't think he's ever been called up to the Italy national team, right?
That's not the most bizarre thing. For me, he should be, yes, second to Donnarumma.
Because
I think Donnarumma starts, and then it's Carnesecchi second,
and then Vicario third.
and then Vicario third, and
And
then
Meret can stay at home.
anyone between whoever's performing best, between Di Gregorio, Meret, Caprile, Provedel,
Mhm.
whoever's having the best
Yeah.
run of form, or maybe bring the oldest one for some nice experience.
Or the one who can make the sickest cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Just for that
Exactly.
for that dressing room effect.
Or just bring Consigli.
You know what? Bring Pinsolio.
Bring Pinsolio.
Pinsolio, Ronaldo arrived in Turin, and Pinsolio immediately charmed him and became his best friend.
Literally.
You know how hard it must be to become best friends with like the biggest superstar in the world?
Who was that Chievo Verona? Sorrentino.
Sorrentino. Oh,
Silver
take me back.
Fox. Silver
Sorrentino,
Fox.
haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah.
Yes, this was honestly a match that Como, you could say they deserved to win because of how momentum was, but I think it would have been unfair for Atalanta
I
to lose,
wouldn't
considering how heroically they defended, how heroically
Exactly.
Carnesecchi played. So I think this,
Exactly.
in the end, would be the fair result, right?
Like, shout out Jim City, shout out Scalvini, man.
All the boys.
These guys, shout out Carnesecchi,
Yeah.
of course. You're against one of the most dangerous teams attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to spend 82 minutes being attacked. And they didn't concede a single goal.
Yeah.
They didn't even concede the penalty. Atalanta totally deserved the point that they got out of this game. Don't get it twisted. Como did not deserve this victory because they came up against a relentless Atalanta.
Yeah. And the good news for Atalanta is that Bellanova made a comeback and came on in the second half.
Yeah.
The bad news, of course, let's be honest, Ahanor. His name is Honest. First name is Honest.
Tell me what you think
That's it.
about the red card 8 minutes in by 17-year-old Honest Ahanor.
It's not a... I don't want to be harsh because he is 17 years old, which means that he hasn't even finished fucking fully developed cognitively
He can
yet.
barely be held accountable at the age of 17.
Yes. He's not even old enough to drive a car, have a beer, let alone, so it's already crazy that he's playing so consistently. We forgive him, right? I mean, we move on. Maybe the shirt number shouldn't be 69, but we move on.
Yeah, I just because I'm a fan of street smarts, Perrone, genius.
Yes, very
genius.
smart, clever.
That's the
And Maltese would say, Hashay.
Hashay. That is the furbo. That is the intelligence of the game. I mean, pick on the 17-year-old. All he thought was probably "fuck you, asshole," like or some shit, and he turned around and slapped him across the face. It's the dark arts. It's
Dark arts.
personally what I really. It's a part of football that I really enjoy. The dark arts.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, Como are in 6th with 41 points. This win would have been massive for them. It would have taken them level with Roma, but it was not to be, and they are still in 6th, while Atalanta, who are doing very well in the form table. I don't even think I read that out yet, actually. Yes, they are 4th in the form table, and they had previously collected 13 points from the previous 5 match days. In fact, that has shot them up to 7th. This was a very important match for Atalanta to win. It was a 6-pointer between them and Como, but unfortunately it was not meant to be, but I'm sure they'll take a draw considering the circumstances. The last time Como actually managed to beat Atalanta at the Senegalia dates back to 1989. I'm enjoying these Como stats because they haven't been around for a while, so everything sounds ancient.
Yeah, they're a cheat code.
Yeah.
Did they make any signings, these two teams?
That's a fantastic question and an excellent segue to my screenshot.
We'll have to make it so obvious, bro. Play it off.
Yeah.
What a segue, bro.
Let me be fucking funny. Como signed Lado, or Ladho, depending what you want to call him. I believe he was an 18 million euro, I believe I saw in the news.
Jeez,
from Hammarby.
man.
He's a young player. If you want to check his age, bro, he is quite an exciting player. So once again, investing for the future. That's Ladho from Hammarby. While Atalanta, of course, have signed Raspadori.
Adrian Ladho, do you say?
Yes.
From Hammerby. 18. Born on the 20th. Oh wow, he was born on Boxing Day. Do you remember what you were doing Boxing Day 2007? Hammerby does. Because he was born. Lazio 3, Genoa 2. Empty stadium, completely, like I think there were 4,000 fans.
Yes, 4,000.
Yes, we don't know if they were Lazio fans, Genoa fans. We don't know how they identified. Because, so, Lazio fans are on strike at the moment because their owner is a piece of shit. And Genoa fans, so, if anyone has more information on this, hit me up, Fenko97 on Instagram. Or at Serie A Spotlight. So, Genoa fans have had a 3-match away ban, much like Inter just got recently, because of conflict with Inter fans. And I believe this is a second year in a row that Genoa fans have had a ban, because they had that Coppa Italia game against Sampdoria that had landed them a ban as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Heated derby.
Exactly, but they had some conflict with Inter fans earlier this year and they got a 3-match ban. But apparently this wasn't part of the 3 games that they were banned for. This was the 4th game, but apparently like the local council of Rome issued a statement that they don't want Genoa fans for the safety of their own fans, and they let them know quite last minute, so ticket sales were already done. That's the information that I have right now. If you know more than that, or if you are impacted by it, please let us know.
So when Genoa took on Inter, apparently like cars were set on fire before the clash, and like things got quite heated. A van and the scooter were also set on fire. Firecrackers and smoke bombs were launched into the street. Not very good.
Not good at all, you might even say. Lazio got their 2nd win of 2026. They were coming off a 0-0 draw to Lecce. They missed Patrick and Gigot, with Rovella and Zaccagni only fit for the bench, but Maldini made his debut. Genoa lose dramatically after a 5-match unbeaten run, coming off a mental 3-2 comeback over Bologna, and for a second we thought they were going to do it again. They missed Baldanzi, Siegrist and Grombake. The previous encounter between these two sides was an away victory for Lazio with the score of 3-0. Lazio lined up in a 4-3-3 formation with Provedel in goal, backline of Marusic, Hila, Provsgaard and Pellegrini. Taylor, Cataldi and Basic formed the midfield 3, Pedro was on the left, Isaacson was on the right and Daniel Maldini was the lone striker. False 9 really. 3-5-2 formation for the Rossi's men, Bilo in goal, backline of Marcandalli, Ostegard and Vasquez, Norton Chaffee was on the right, Martin was on the left, midfield 3 of Malinovsky, Frendrup and Ellertson, with Colombo and Vitinha starting up front together. Now, all the action took place in the second half. First half, snooze fest, 1 chance for Genoa. 56th minute, Pedro converted a penalty after Martin handled a cross from Gustav Isaacson. VAR confirmed the spot kick. In the 62nd minute, Kenneth Taylor got his first Lazio goal. Isaacson received a Provedel long ball, waited for the late run into the box by Taylor, spotted him out and Taylor finished cleanly. So 62nd minute and Lazio are leading 2-0. 68th minute, Malinovsky nets a penalty after Hila handled a Malinovsky rocket. You could see here 68th minute, Malinovsky locked in. That was the difference between the whatever happened in the game before and what happened in the game from here on out. Malinovsky locked in.
He did.
So he wins the penalty, he scores the penalty, and his tactic for scoring the penalty, his approach, just shafts it
hard into
the back of net, just goes hard.
Yep. He would impregnate his woman first try.
Yes, 100%. I'm trying to think of something clever to tell you, but I can't think of anything.
And I'm pretty sure it's Norton Coffee.
What did I say?
Not Norton Coffee.
Norton Coffee.
His
Norton
first name is
Coffee,
Brooke, and he's from the UK.
Matthew Fenech then, because we were a UK colony for 100 years, whatever. 75th minute, Malinovsky. So he steps up to take the corner, and he's still locked in. What does he do? He decides to shoot from the corner. He hits the post. He rattles the bar. It falls to Vitinha. Vitinha volleys it
Didn't
in.
the keeper save it? I thought the keeper like
It
had to-
looked like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
If he got a touch, sorry, Providel, if you got a touch,
Yeah.
like you want credit for it. But it looked like it just directly hit the post. 'Cause I paused
I have never seen a corner on target taken with so much power.
So
Normally you give them bend, they bend. It goes in like over the keeper and catches them by surprise. This was
it had
powerful.
both.
It had both, but
had bend.
it was a hard shot, man.
Malinovsky is his left foot, bro. We've been saying this for years because we've been seeing it for years.
Yeah.
Malinovsky has the left foot of
And finally-
Roberto Carlos,
but
man.
it feels like he hibernated his left foot for a while.
He had injury problems.
Yeah.
If you injure that leg, bro, and you release that power that he does, you know you're gonna need to take it easy in that sense.
Yeah,
Shooting is one of the worst things you can do for an injury.
of course.
You know. So Genoa get the equalizer, and then it's like what, the 97th minute, 98th minute, and there was a third penalty of the match, but it's in favor of Lazio. Now, the penalty was spotted by VAR. There were no complaints or anything of the sort. No one spotted this handball by Østigard because Østigard was pretty much underneath his goalkeeper. His hand was up and just made slight contact with his hand before the goalkeeper grasped the ball. Penalty given. Cataldi steps up. Cool head takes a perfect penalty. Below tracked it, but there's nothing he could do about that. I'd say how level-headed Cataldi is, how cool, calm and collected he was, but there were 4,000 people in the stadium only. It's still difficult, but it's not like everyone in the stadium was.
It's almost
doing it.
worse. It's almost worse in the silence.
Let's hear your thoughts.
You can hear I remember once I was watching a football game. I can't remember. It was a Maltese team against another Maltese team, and the crowd was booing every time the opposite. I think it was like a Birkirkara Floriana European playoff game to qualify. Obviously they lost, but it had gone to penalties. And I remember every time the opposition took a penalty, the crowd booed them and they scored every time. And every time the home team went to take a penalty, the crowd would go silent. And every time someone would shout out any words of encouragement, the ultras would like shush you, shh. So they're stepping up and it's just so quiet. And they ended up missing like 2 or 3 penalties, man. Because the silence is awkward. It's hard. You need to hear your fans backing you. You don't hear shh. You don't want to hear that.
No. If you hear a
It's
pin
worse.
drop,
Yeah.
I love how you're telling me this story, bro, because I was there.
You were
with
there.
you.
Who was it? Who was
Hamroon, bro.
Hamroon.
It was Hamroon.
Hamroon, it was.
Yes, bro.
This was at ages ago, I'm saying. And I'm saying the Victor Tedesco Stadium.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Okay.
I was there. We were together.
Yeah.
Genoa almost got another comeback over here. They were very close. Even if they would have gotten a draw, it would have been a huge achievement. Tell me about, bro. A, the spirit of De Rossi's men. B, did you see the Østigard handball?
The Østigard, I did. I can't quite remember it.
Look it up. It was bizarre, but like, I don't know. His arm is obviously in an unnatural position, but how much of a difference did it make is the question. Have a look at it and let me know what you think. It's at the very end.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so it's about to get the replay for Jake.
There's Vitinha going absolutely
Yes,
mental.
Genoa have been so impressive with their comebacks, and look at that. So ball goes in. No one complains.
No one complains
anything.
because it looked like the keeper touched it with his hand.
Right?
Yeah, but that's a handball. I mean, it's totally unnecessary and didn't give him any sort of advantage whatsoever. It's just extremely unfortunate. That's an unfortunate call. Like,
It's really
do you think it was the wrong call? I don't think it was the wrong
not
call.
particularly, man. It's one of those I just like. Had it gone either way, I wouldn't have complained because I really don't think it affected any kind of outcome. Like when you look at the XG of a penalty versus the XG of the situation, bro, it's really skewed.
Yeah. True.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is, in fact.
He did
Yeah.
handle the ball.
It's gone viral, that clip of I think Pedro's first goal, where he runs to the home fans and looks up and it's completely empty. Like,
yeah. Oh, what can you do? You know what I mean?
But I think that's the right thing to do right now. It's definitely not easy, and I'm surprised they managed to protest with such success, because imagine being a season ticket holder. Every home match you go to the stadium, it's a nice outing for you. You know, you've paid for the tickets, so you deserve to go to every game. And just because of the situation of the owner, you're deciding, you know what, I've paid for this ticket. I love going to the stadium, but I'm not going to do it to protest. Now, my question is, okay, the protest was good. It made international headlines because an empty Olimpico is extremely weird. It's a strange sight. It's eerie. It's an eerie sight. They've protested now. Okay, sure. Only 4,000 fans at the stadium. Now what?
Yeah,
do they go? They do it again.
They do it again. If this is a protest,
they have to keep doing it.
You have to
until
keep doing
something,
it.
But nothing's gonna happen. So you're telling me they're gonna spend the entire rest of the season without going?
Something might happen.
Yeah. Something might happen. What, you think
happen.
Lotito's going to randomly sell or step down, or he can't sign a player, the window's closed?
Yes, Lotito can very much sell the club.
He can sell, but he's not going to do it like in what he's saying.
No, but it's January. It's February. Season ends in May, June. You know what I mean?
But it feels like it's a lot asking for the fans to not go to the stadium for the rest of the season.
Yes, no, like and many
because
of
now
us
if they go to the next game, Lotito's just going to be like, you see, it's just a blimp in the road. You know, he constantly says, Lotito, that it's the minority of fans that are against him, not the majority. And this proves that it's the majority. But if they all rock up to the next game, it's quickly going to be forgotten.
And like, I advise Lazio fans, don't go to the stadium. If you really want this guy out that bad, don't watch them for the rest of the season live at the stadium. It's not that hard. Bro,
it's ridiculous. This guy has turned against his fans hardcore. He mentioned taking them to court, and we talked about it last week because of the fact that they're trying to hurt his business or whatever, because the Lazio fans put out a statement saying not to go to the stadium. Now, there was a petition going around for Lotito to sell the club. Ciro Immobile signed this petition. The Lazio YouTube account, which doesn't post very regularly, it's kind of a dead account, posted a video kind of like explaining that, like, how easy it is to like get fake accounts to sign these petitions. Like, instead of just accepting it or just like staying quiet, they constantly provoke the fan. This is Lotito. This is a problem with Lotito. It's not his actions, it's his provocation, man. He provokes the fans, and it must be infuriating.
Lazio fans, have your say. Do you think Lotito has the club's best interest at heart? I highly doubt that one.
Meanwhile, Lotito
asleep at the stadium. Just to talk a bit about the game for Lazio as well. Just this one point really to make about Lazio. Firstly, great for them to be resilient and to get the victory, even though it did take a couple of penalties, etc. In a stadium that derelict, that empty, in the Olimpico, any point is a good point, because that's the thing that the fans are risking, is that the team, the 11 men on the pitch, aren't going to be supported, and as a result, they're not going to get the results that they want because of this one twat that won't sell the club or doesn't have the club's best interest at heart. But Sarri went with Maldini starting up front on his debut. Obviously, Maldini isn't a striker. Sure, he can play in the false nine role. But flanking him was Pedro and Isaacson. So it's a tough first outing for Maldini. He didn't have a great game. He was quite invisible, to be honest.
So this is a front three of people who have been having a really tough time lately. Pedro, of course, he's barely featured this season. Last season he was a protagonist. This season not so much at all. Isaacson has also been a little bit rough around the edges lately. This was his best game in a while.
Yeah.
And Maldini, as we know, has problems finishing and has problems in the final third in general. The good news for Maldini is that Sarri doesn't know who to play up front. He brought in Ratkov as a striker this game. He's tried Noslin, he's tried Dia. He used to rely on Castellanos. Castellanos was the go-to guy, but now he's sold. So that spot is up for grabs. So you never know if Maldini hits a bit of a purple patch or starts to actually show some flashes of brilliance over there. He can actually get the job done. Now, I know Maldini is a bit of a meme in the fan community. I have seen Maldini show moments where I say, he's got talent. He's got a special something about him. He's not going to be one of the top players in the world. In fact, he's already 24 years old, you know. But he's definitely a capable player, and I think as a creative player, he's better than as someone you rely on to finish chances, because he's not that guy. His finishing is woeful. No. Woeful, terrible finishing.
He's not. You know what Daniel Maldini has never really benefited from, man? Some consistent playing time in Serie B. I feel like that's what changed him as a player. He's too privileged to have.
He's too privileged
consistent player in Serie B. He's gonna have a Serie A salary for his entire career, you know, because he's a Maldini.
He had a few good weeks with Monza, and suddenly he's out. You know,
it makes me. Sorry to cut you off, but it makes me appreciate Paolo so much more, because his dad was a superstar. When your dad's a superstar, it makes you less likely to do well, because you know the whole. If you wake up in silk sheets, try go to training. It's 10 times harder than if you're sleeping on the fucking floor. You know what I mean? Sure. Genoa, on the other hand, they played this 3-5-2, which really helps them maintain defensive solidity when going forward and trying to get these goals. They're quite unorthodox in the way they attack as well. When they were under Gilardino, they're under Vieira, and now they're always quite an unpredictable team. And they've got unpredictable players like Malinovsky, who will shoot from a fucking corner, if you're wondering what I mean by unpredictability. Defensively, as much as they are structured while they're going forward, they are so clumsy. They are the team that I would bet on the most to give away a penalty, to handle the ball late on in the game. They are that team.
They have very confrontational centre-backs, for lack of a better term. Vasquez and Ostigard will get up in your face. They will get up close and personal. And obviously, you're more likely to give away a situation by doing that.
Yeah, completely agreed. Genoa, when it comes to their transfers brought in, Bilo, who actually made his debut over here as goalkeeper, conceded 3 goals, but you could see that there's something in him, tracked the penalties super well. The Cataldi winner. He was signed by Feyenoord, the goalkeeper.
From Feyenoord?
From Feyenoord, yeah. They got Baldanzi.
Excellent sign.
From Roma.
By really excellent, I mean exciting. More exciting.
Yeah. Zetterstrom from Sheffield, no fucking way, and Amorim from Alverca. Mix up, guys. Mix up.
When it's curling, fucking doing bicep curls right there.
He was doing bicep curls. I saw him.
Yeah,
but I heard the dumbbell clinking, and I looked over, and he was doing
fucking
it.
Right,
hell yeah. Lazio signed Ratkov from Salzburg, Taylor from Ajax, Motta from Reggiana, Maldini from Atalanta, and Jesus.
They're gonna need Jesus.
Pszborek from Pogon.
Okay.
So it's Przybborek. So like Przybborek.
Oh, you like football, son? Who's your favorite player?
Przybborek.
From?
Pogon. Job on. Over to you, brother.
Pisa 1, Sassuolo 3. Massive victory for Sassuolo.
Yes.
And it's the straw that broke Alberto Gilardino's back, unfortunately, but hard to make a case for him when you look at all the data. You know, it's not looking good. We'll get into it very soon. But yes, Sassuolo, this was their first win away from home after 5 winless, so it was much needed as well for them. As for the lineups, Scuffet was in goal for Pisa with Cannesserli, Caracciolo and Bozinov at the back. Angori and Touré were out wide. Fun fact about Touré is no one has won more aerial duels than him this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this the same Touré that was at Palermo?
This is the same Touré that was at Juve. I don't know if he was at Palermo, but I recall him being at Juve. Marin and Abisher were in the middle with Morio and Tramoni playing off the shoulders of Meister. The Tramoni deal fell through with Palermo.
Amazing.
He was going there, but apparently some official blocked it from Pisa.
Amazing.
So nice to see they still want to fight and survive.
Yes.
Fight and win, as they chant in America. Muric was in goal in their 4-3-3 formation with Doig as a left back, Valukovic on the right, Muharemovic and Itzez at the back. Kone, Matic and Tordsvet played as the midfield three with Lauriente on the left, Berardi on the right and Pinamonti starting up front. Now Pisa briefly thought that they'd taken an early lead, but Bozinov's goal was ruled off for offside. Sassuolo then struck on the counter, Berardi of course making a comeback to the starting 11 for the first time since November. Cut out wide past two players and shot it from a tight angle into the roof of the net to give Sassuolo the lead. Now please excuse me because I have pressed the down button instead of scrolling and it took me to the very bottom of my page.
Happens to the best of us, bro.
Yes. From on his weaker foot, Berardi. And right before the break, Berardi was back causing chaos, of course, and he forced an own goal from Caracciolo to make it 2-0. Pisa came out flying in the second half and Abisher pulled Ban back with a stunning top corner strike, and Leris nearly equalized. He managed to bend the ball around the keeper, was slowly going towards goal, but Itzes came out of nowhere and slid perfectly. He timed his slide perfectly and cleared it off the line absolutely beautifully. Someone clip that, slow it down, put some jazz music over it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Tonight the music seems so loud.
That, yeah.
Alright.
Killed the momentum soon after. Matic burst down the right and squared it for Kone to sweep in for 3-1. VAR then overturned the potential Sassuolo penalty for a foul on Llorente that was actually outside the box. Muric narrowly avoided a sending off thanks to a marginal offside, and Sassuolo win 3-1. That Muric situation was ridiculous. Muric literally took out a player, but because that player was in an offside position, it wasn't even reviewed, nothing. It was literally a red card. Go Dogzo like.
But he was off.
Crazy.
Doesn't count.
Crazy.
Doesn't count. I know.
So if I'm offside but I clart you in the neck.
If you're offside and you shoot me in the face.
yeah, nothing.
You're all good.
Right,
now
cool.
that is the time to commit murder, bro. If you're caught offside, you can get away with anything.
But Your Honor, I was offside. Oh, okay. Case dismissed.
Damn. I just want to go through the comments because there are on the Pisa Sassuolo game.
It says
on YouTube there are 671 comments. And they are all Indonesian people freaking out over J. It says,
yeah,
amazing save by It says, brilliant save from Captain J. It says Sassuolo from Indonesia. The crucial clearance by J. It says, our captain Gardura Spirit. J. It says his crucial save was worth a goal, which means it meant a lot. J. It says is a top class defender. Crucial clearance, minute 1.39. In match, minute 51.14. Sassuolo fans from Tangerang branch. Love from Indonesia to Sassuolo fans. J. It says incredible save. Incredible moves. El Capitano Indonesia J. It says. Now it seems like someone here. Again J. It says. Lit up my brother.
That's about Audero. Because they barely showed Audero any love on the YouTube comment section though.
I know, I was seeing, bro. I was seeing.
Because I looked into it. I was expecting there to be some outrage, but they didn't even talk about it.
Bro, Indonesian-born player Jaden Oosterwolde also played for Sassuolo before moving to Fenerbahce, Turkey. If Jaden had stayed at Sassuolo, he might have formed a potent trio with J. It says. I thought this was a joke. I thought Jaden Oosterwolde was like...
Potent trio? What? Jaden Oosterwolde is two people?
Yep. Yep. Apparently so, bro.
Okay.
Apparently so. Bro,
he's Siamese.
I haven't stopped scrolling. They're all I'm seeing is the Indonesian flag. Gotta love
fucking
Indonesia.
Right, the pride of Indonesia.
Hell yeah. Shout out Jay.
Sassuolo's transition game. Beautiful. Sassuolo, man. I mean, Grosso's plan was simple from the get-go. Sit compact, bait Pisa forward, and then break quickly through Loriente and Berardi, who, if they have some space, can easily take advantage because they have way more quality than Pisa have. Pisa couldn't defend the transitions, in fact, and Sassuolo exploited the right channel repeatedly.
Yeah. I think
Pisa
this was about like
yeah.
effective possession rather than possession. If you watch this game, what you notice is Sassuolo go into this game going, let Pisa have the ball. Let Pisa enter halftime going, we're playing well, I think we can get a goal, whatever. The second they ride off that confidence and go for it, that's when Sassuolo hit on the brake.
Yeah.
That's when Sassuolo's transitions become 10 times better, is when they have just spent how long? 24 minutes baiting the opponent to thinking that they could do something with the ball.
Yeah.
Bait them, hit them on the transition. Loriente, Berardi. By the way, Berardi, for his first game back from injury, wow, man.
Yeah, you can tell there's just a different level in quality over there. Berardi's so good. And you can see this team. I mean, even the midfield three of Kone, Matic and Tordsvet is excellent. You've got the experience of Matic, who in games like this can totally take over and control. Tordsvet is very good as well. Kone, man, is a force to be reckoned with as well. They are just a well-rounded little team, man. I'm telling you that dynamic midfield is very nice. Pisa can be happy with Abisher's performance, to be honest, but other than that, to be honest, a little bit chaotic. Caracciolo was a bit shaky. Tramoni was struggling to handle the rotations from the opposition. And
but it was in my opinion, there was a huge difference in class between these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, you know how much I love Gilardino.
Yeah,
he's my fucking boy, man. Gilardino, if Pisa's goal is to survive, you have to sack Gilardino, because 23 games in, he only won one game.
Exactly.
If your goal is stay in Serie A, you sack the manager who has failed to win 22 games. If their goal is, it doesn't matter if you go down to B, we need a sustainable project, we need the same man to be leading the ship for a while, then in that case they messed up.
Yeah.
Because now if they get sacked with a Ballardini of sorts, and then they sign a new manager in 2026, 2027 looking to get promoted, that makes things all the more complicated.
Yeah.
So I hope they rack up some wins now.
Absolutely. And the guy they brought in has never coached at this level before. We are talking about a former Serie A player. He represented Palermo from 2015 to 2017 with 53 appearances and 4 goals. Sorry, I haven't given you his name yet. His name is Oscar Hiljemark. This is the new manager of Pisa. Yes, he played for Palermo, that's right, and he played for Genoa. 32 games and 1 goal. Now, the cool thing about Hiljemark, our patron Matthias dropped me a message, and I'm going to read you the message, to be honest, because it's very interesting. The very short story on Hiljemark, the new Pisa coach, is that he played for both Palermo and Genoa. Injuries forced him to retire early and go into coaching. He comes from a coaching gig at Elfsborg in Sweden, where he led the team through a successful European tour where they beat Roma at home 1-0. Ballardini coached him at both Palermo and Genoa, and they somewhat have similar philosophies. Expect a defensively sound 3-4-3 with counterattacks through the wings. That sounds wicked in theory.
It sounds like what they need. They don't need someone who's going to try to dominate possession or...
Telling me a 3-4-3 with this Pisa, do they have the personnel for it? I would argue they do, huh?
They might.
3-4-3, go wing heavy.
They have physical players.
That
so
Durosinmi, that new striker who ended up getting an assist this game, actually can play up front as a lone striker. I think he can do it. Stengs made an appearance this game.
Finally,
5 minutes, finally. Maybe he can save them because he's a player of great quality. I don't know, man. Maybe this is the shot in the dark they need. It's just a little bit weird because this coach, Hillier mark. It's not like his spell ended excellently. He had a good start with Elfsborg, but apparently it went sour very quickly. In fact, I had asked Matthias like what went wrong, and apparently he forced the captain out and there was a negative turn in results. It wasn't exactly great. So we'll have to wait and see what Pisa's decision making is like. Is it suicide or is it genius? We'll see.
I think the risk is in choosing a manager that hasn't been in the situation before. That's the major risk. The same risk Udinese took when getting Gruniaic, and I mean, look how that's worked out. He had never managed in the league. He had never managed a team that was flirting with the idea of relegation. Boom, gets them to 11th, gets them to 10th. Do I think Pisa have the quality players to allow an inexperienced manager to flourish with them and to get them out of the relegation zone? No. But perhaps there's things that we're not seeing because maybe Gilardino was so focused on system that he didn't allow Tramoni to shine. You know, maybe there's things like that we're not exactly factoring in.
The exact quote from Matthias on the problem was that they have issues they had issues with the offense. Okay. I mean, that's what you'd expect from a 3-4-3 manager who learned from Ballardini.
Exactly.
And they created very little. They were probably one of the worst teams in the league in the second half of the season. He lost the dressing room. He benched the captain and forced him to retire. Yeah, so we'll wait and see, but we can move on. That actually leaves Pisa, I believe, bottom of the table, not dead last thanks to goal difference, but they are on 14 points in 19th place, while Sassuolo are in 11th with 29 points. Yes.
Okay, from here on out we need to speed it up a bit because it's 8:15.
Yes, Milan are about to start, but I believe you have one more.
Yes,
one more.
but then you know we have our prediction series, and then we'll have a 10-minute voice note, and we want Nick to speak a little bit.
Yes. Let's go.
Perfect. So
Cagliari should be good.
Cagliari 4, Verona 0. Guys, this is Cagliari's third victory in a row. The last time that they did that was 2021, not too long ago to be honest, but still an amazing achievement for Cagliari, who I feel like have really found their system. I'll get into it soon. They were coming off a 2-1 away victory to Fiorentina. They missed Belotti, Felici and Folorunshaw, with Diola only fit for the bench. Verona have sacked Zanetti after this loss to a relegation rival. And also, following a 3-1 home loss to Udinese and just 2 wins all season. They missed Bella Ketchup, Suslov, Akpakpro and Belgali. Freze, Valentini and Mosquera were not 100%. So it's not an easy deck of cards he was handed either. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 2-2 draw. For Cagliari, it was the same 3-5-2 formation that they've been using on paper, 3-5-2. Caprile and goal, backline of Luperto, Mina and Ze Pedro. Like Luperto starting, playing 90 minutes and then he's just shipped off. Ober on the left, Palestra on the right, midfield three of Mazzitelli, Gaetano and Adopo, with Esposito and Kilitsoi starting up front together. Also a 3-5-2 for Verona with Perilli in goal, backline of Slotstager, Nelson and Valentini, Lirola on the right, Freze on the left, midfield three of Bernadette, Gagliardini and Harrui, with Sar and Gift Orban starting up front together. Cagliari opened the scoring in the 36th minute as Palestra bulldozed past 2 men down the right side, cutting inside, played the ball to Ober, who backheeled it to Mazzitelli, who drilled it into the near post. Amazing goal. Amazing passage of play. In the 48th minute, still in the first half, Esposito crossed after a corner, a high looping cross that fell to Kilitsoi at the back post, scissor kick volley at the back post. Amazing, through the legs of the goalkeeper, flag up, called for offside, VAR checks, and the goal stands. 51st minute, this was I wouldn't call it a turning point, it was the enhancement point, as Amin Sar was sent off for a second yellow card, and this raised some eyebrows, particularly mine. Because I don't think that's a foul, and I don't think it's worthy of a yellow card, for sure. Now, if Sar was behaving a certain way throughout the game to the point that he deserved that caution because of repeated offences, that's a different story, but I personally didn't see that. I think that is a mistake by the referee, and I think that this is a gap in the VAR system that was exploited here, where if it's a second yellow card, because it's a yellow card and not a direct red, you can't check VAR. It was very harshly done over there, and then obviously Cagliari took full control. To make it 3-0, Perilli was caught out of position, but he saved Adoppo's header from a corner, but then Sulemana tapped in the rebound, and then in the 90th there was a Zappa cross, and Idrissi scored a free header at the back post as Verona were completely gone, and Cagliari confirmed their 4-0 victory. Brother, Cagliari, 3 wins in a row. It's listed their formation as so this is the same system that they used in their past 3 victories, which beat Juventus, and I forgot who the other team was. What was their victory last week? It's listed as a 3-5-2, but in possession it looks like a 4-3-3. That
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina. Man, 3 really good wins for them. So listed as a 3-5-2. In possession, it's a 4-3-3. In the attack, it looks like a 4-2-4. The wingers go high and wide. Ober overlaps. The box is constantly flooded. I love the way Adoppo almost acts like a third striker with his late runs into the box. The way he carries the ball forward, Adoppo. The way he dragged Verona's press apart. The way he won balls, drove forward, created overloads. Cagliari found their system, I feel.
They have. It's all ticking for them, and they have talent all round. They play with a lot of intent. They're quite direct, man. Once they get the ball, they attack you. They go for your throat, and they have a nice combination of talent up front with Esposito, who's got the techers, and Kılıçsoy, who apparently can score. I think this season he's scored 3 goals, and they were all wildly different. So we know exactly what he can do. In one of them, he dribbled the entire team. In this one, he scored a scissor kick, scissor kick. It was more like a volley.
Yeah, a scissor kick volley.
Yeah, and the other one was header. Was it? I can't quite remember.
Could be.
But yeah, they were all wildly different. So that's very interesting.
Kılıçsoy scored 4 goals in 40 days. He scored against Pisa, Torino, Fiorentina, and now against Verona as well.
Massive, man.
Really good. Turkey have so much talent, man, at the moment. So much young talent, and clearly Kılıçsoy is one of them.
Yeah, they honestly, man, they're looking good, and they're looking like they're gonna survive with ease, dare I say. And I just wonder what they can build off this, bro. Do you have the list of the players they brought in?
I do,
because I'm curious to know. I know they brought in Dossena to replace Luperto.
Yes, so it's Dossena from Como, Sulemana from Bologna.
Very nice.
Albarracin from Boston River.
Okay.
And Ratternick from DE Grafshop.
So we'll see if their scouting system is still lit.
Yeah, since I'm here, Hellas got Borghi from Corinthians, Isaac from Atletico Mineiro, Lirola from Marseille, Lovrich from Udinese, Bowie from Hibernian, and Edmundson from Vilsa Plock.
Okay, interesting. The thing is, we don't even need to discuss Hellas right now, because we're going to talk about them after the voice note as well, because it's
correct.
Hellas based.
We still don't know what manager they're getting. The only information that I have so far is that today's training session will be led by Primavera coach Paolo San Marco.
Yes, and it will be San Marco who, of course, takes the reins right now. However, the 2 managers who are being rumored are Gotti, of course. We're talking Luca Gotti, the one. It's been a while. He managed Udinese in 2019, where he did quite well before dipping. He had a win percentage of 28.74%. That's not great, but yes, he managed 87 games, 25 wins, 25 draws, 37 losses. He also most recently managed Lecce, which was a bit of a flop. He managed 24 games with 6 wins, 7 draws, and 11 losses. Not terrible considering the team that Lecce probably had at the time. D'Aversa, on the other hand, most recently managed Empoli. He had 44 games there, 8 wins, 15 draws, and 21 losses. Not great, but of course D'Aversa is well renowned for taking Parma all the way up to the top.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do hope that it's local manager, unlike what Pisa did, that they get someone that knows the league and has been there before. Because now, since we have so many Verona fans as patrons, all I want is for Verona to survive. But yeah, Verona find themselves in last on 14 points, actually level on points with Pisa. It's funny, now is the point that these two teams decided to sack their managers, but they're both only 4 points behind Lecce, so this is still incredibly open. You know, there is quite a gap between Lecce and Parma, and that gap is of 5 points. On the other hand, Cagliari, man, 28 points. I would say that at 35-40,
you're safe.
You're pretty much safe.
Nowadays,
so
35,
Cagliari,
I think you're safe, man. Because teams have been really struggling to rack up points these last few seasons.
They have been.
Yeah.
But Cagliari, not there yet, but they don't look like they're going to get relegated.
Yeah. The last match was Torino 1, Lecce 0. Now, this was
if you try watch this game, jeez, man.
Fucking hell. Two teams that are absolutely desperate for a win. Torino came into this one after 4 defeats in a row with 12 conceded, while Lecce hadn't scored since the 11th of January. Apparently everyone was scoring on the 11th of January. And they have only scored 13 goals this season. So Torino on the last 4 conceded only 1 less than Lecce have scored all season. Funnily enough, Torino have actually conceded the most goals in Serie A this season, having conceded 40. So if Lecce were going to score, it was going to be in this one. Also, Baroni, ex of the day, he coached Lecce from 2021 to 2023. He obtained promotion and survival.
Yeah.
Now, for Torino's Paleari in goal, with Marianucci, Maripan and Cocco at the back. Yes, that's right, Marianucci. He's arrived on loan from Napoli.
Yep.
Pedersen was on the right, Lazaro on the left, with Vlasic, Ilkan and Casadei in the middle, with Adams and Zapata playing together up front. As for Lecce, it was Falcone in goal with Vega and Gallo as the fullbacks, Seibert and Gabriel at the back. Gabriel Martinez, Bruno. Koulibaly, Ramadani were the double pivot, with Sotil on the left, Pirotti on the right. Gandelman playing behind Khedira. That's right, Lecce bringing in reinforcements and starting them from the get-go. And in fact, they actually started better, and they forced 2 early saves from Paleari, thanks to Ramadani and Koulibaly. Ramadani was inspired this game. But Torino struck with their first real chance. Vlasic drifted wide and whipped in a perfect low cross to Shea Adams, who guided into the far corner in the 29th minute. Zapata then missed a big chance to double the lead, and Falcone kept Lecce alive with stops on Zapata and Casadei. Lecce threatened before the break too. Gandelman tested Paleari and Sotil went close from a free kick. In the second half, Falcone made 2 more huge saves, and Vega cleared the ball off the line. Adams could have sealed it, but he dragged his shot. Lecce pushed late, and Banda hit the post on a counter, and that was the closest they got. But Torino held on for a gritty 1-0 win. Bro, everything Torino do goes through Vlasic. Is Vlasic good enough to be given so much responsibility?
For Torino, yes.
But he could most definitely do with some help, right?
He could absolutely do with some help. And if you look at Torino, typically over the years, he had help.
Yes.
There was Ilic, for example, that really supported him. There was Tamez when he was doing better.
Yeah.
That used to support him. Nowadays, what I was hopeful of is that Casadei was the guy that can support him, and that Asllani was good enough to also support him as that deep-lying playmaker, really. But he's the only midfielder that they have that can link play to the attack. They really struggle to get the ball to the strike. I think, actually, most of that work is done by Shea Adams, dropping in deep to bring the ball up.
He's a good player, Shea Adams. He's very tricky, man. Granted, he's not going to cause you a lot of problems through like sprints and behind, and he's not going to kill you physically, but the second you misstep, he'll take advantage.
Yes.
He's so intelligent, and that's what makes him so dangerous. And Zapata looks like he's finding his form again. He had a bit of a mixed bag this game, but there were moments where he impressed me moving the ball and carrying the ball.
I think after at his age with the injury that he had, it'll take some getting used to being back and accepting the type of player that he has become. Less flair, less explosiveness about him, but as a reference point, as long as he has someone like Shea Adams next to him, I think those two are a good match, because Shea Adams can get the dirty work and Zapata can be that reference point.
Absolutely, yes, bro. This was very much a game between Pagliari and Falcone, the goalkeepers. Pagliari had 3 good saves early on to keep Torino alive, while Falcone, I think, did even better. He denied Zapata twice, Casadei once, and he defused 2 dangerous corners. I mean, this was always a type of game you were gonna get. It was very cagey. It was both teams were very cautious about losing. They didn't want to lose. Torino actually created the better chances of both teams, and Lecce's struggles to create still persist. So this takes us, what have Lecce done to address this situation, this goal scoring situation? So Lecce have actually brought in Gandelman, who's new, Ingom from Estrella Amadora, Fofana from Grazer AK, and Kedira from Sassuolo.
Okay.
Now, we know Kedira. Kedira, in my opinion, struggles to hold up the play and sometimes struggles to get involved in games. I'm not quite sure he's the answer for Lecce. What do you think?
I'm the wrong person to ask, because I think I've said this on the pod before. I think I've seen Kedira have one good game, and I've watched quite a bit of him. He's never really...
He's invisible. Like, he struggles to get involved, man. He does.
I struggle to see what the guy is really that good at. I'm gonna be honest, but hopefully this is the stage where he shows us.
Yeah. Torino, on the other hand, have signed Obrador from Benfica, which I'm pretty sure means thank you in Portuguese or something. Prati from Cagliari.
Yo,
crazy.
You taught his cousin.
I taught his cousin English. Marianucci from Napoli, of course, on loan as well. Kulenovic from Dinamo Zagreb, and Ebosse from Verona.
Amazing.
Nice to see these Ebosses, Ebozeles, Ezibwes splitting up, making our life a little bit easier here at Serie A Spotlight.
Also, man, this was a huge win for Torino, because I feel like if Torino didn't win this game, that puts Baroni in a really risky situation, man.
Indeed.
I think Torino are really, they are far too low, man, far too low, in 13th place on 26 points. And I mean, Genoa, Cremonese and Parma are all just 3 points behind them. So if something happens, Torino can very easily find themselves in a relegation situation. And considering how they've been playing this season, I think that's where they deserve to be. I don't think they deserve to be the mid-table team they usually are.
Fair enough. One guy who does impress me often is Lazaro. Not for his output, of course, but for his work ethic. The work he does out wide is
good on the ball as well. He can take it to his opponent, Lazaro.
And even when they are being force-fed their own shit, Lazaro keeps trying till the end. Yeah. Even last game against Como, he was one of the only ones to actually keep trying until the end, which is nice to see always. Yes, I think we can move on because we are a little bit pressed for time. Torino currently stand in 13th with 26 points. That is 3 places lower when they normally are. They're 4 points away from that dream 10th spot that Cairo loves ever so much. And Lecce are in 17th with 18 points, just 1 point above Fiorentina, and it's getting a little bit dangerous. They better hope that Kedira can save them.
Exactly. Brother, let's jump to our prediction series real quick. So I'm just opening up the fixtures for next weekend right now. And boy, oh boy, do we have a weekend of action ahead of us. And to kick it off, it is Verona against Pisa. And brother, it's your turn to start.
Verona against Pisa. Two fucking teams with new managers. Verona, Pisa, mental. I'm gonna go. Wait, Verona are home?
Yes.
Draw.
I'm gonna go for a biscotto draw over here. Both teams will prioritize not losing. But also the managerial jump might be huge over here.
For both, though.
For both, but if Verona don't sign one in time and they use but they could still get that.
I mean, Carrick has that guy is about to get a haircut because of Michael Carrick.
Genoa Napoli, way closer than I'll make it out to seem with my quick answer, way closer, but Napoli will get it done. They don't have Champions League anymore. I think they'll get it done.
I agree with you. Not to underestimate Genoa, but I think Napoli will get it done too.
Fiorentina Torino, bro.
I think, dare I say, Fiorentina manager win here. Fuck it.
I think so too.
Yes.
I think so too, and I think they can destroy Torino.
Yes.
I think they can beat them 2-0, 3-0. Bologna Parma. It's tricky because I don't know how Bologna fare against Milan in 14 minutes.
Right.
Bologna.
Draw.
Ooh. Lecce Udinese.
Udinese. Yeah, Udinese.
Yeah, I agree. Udinese. Sassuolo Inter.
The boogeyman.
Inter without fans at the Mape.
I think it's your turn, no?
It's my turn. Inter.
Inter? Yeah, same. Inter. Fuck it. You can't bet against these guys right now.
Juve Lazio. That's a nice one.
Juve.
Your turn. Juve. I agree. Juve.
Mm-hmm.
Atalanta Cremonese. I'm gonna go Atalanta.
Same here. Atalanta.
Roma Cagliari. Cagliari have previously beaten Roma this season. I'm gonna go draw.
I'll go Roma.
Interesting. Milan Como.
Yes. This is the Milan home one, right? Yes. Milan, man. Fuck it.
Milan. Amazing.
Allegri. Come on.
Brilliant.
Wild horses.
Just a reminder that it's brilliant. It's 4-4 right now. Let us know in the comments who are you supporting, and also smash the like button, guys. The like button is huge and it turns into a football.
It
so
does.
Please do
It
it. Before we invite Aman to take over the episode to give us some insight on Hellas Verona, Nick the Dick, I wanted to come in here, bro. This is the last time you will hear Nick's beautiful scream on the podcast.
Careful the bottle.
Nick, careful the bottle.
Okay.
Brother,
Wow,
get
I've
the fuck in
never
here.
been on this end.
He's
Ooh.
never been on this end. You're
Hello,
the behind
everyone.
the scenes guy.
Hello everyone.
Brother, speak to the fans. What are you gonna miss?
I'm gonna miss bantering with these guys so much. Genuinely, it hurt having to do this. I have a lot of university work to finish off before my graduation. So that will be in November of this year. So I'll be finishing university in May. So yeah, hopefully that all goes well. I'm gonna miss this so much. This was all so fun. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for supporting us in general, and also me with learning stuff and whatnot behind the scenes and doing everything to get you guys the best quality stuff. Last thing I want to say is Manchester is always red and will always be red forever.
Yes.
And hopefully we get to see some good results now under Carrick, and we keep on with the great trajectory. So yes, ask me.
So you've been exposed to Italian football now for the past few weeks, and even if you don't watch, you get to hear us blab on and on about it. Which team will have a special place in your heart from now on?
Probably it's between Como and Napoli. I think Como because of how flamboyant they always are, and with the Nico Paz kind of always hearing about Nico Paz every single week. I think that's a name I'm gonna hear in the future that I end up probably telling my kids kind of thing, or my kids end up seeing or something. I don't know how soon that will be. Who knows?
Nick shoots, Nick scores.
But
Malinovsky.
But Napoli always has a very warm place in my heart because of Scott. because I've seen Scott doing so well, and he deserves it 100%. So Napoli and Como, I would say. So,
Guys, if you are fans of Serie A Spotlight, you are fans of Nick. Of course, Nick has deeper and more important things, but you will always, brother, you'll always be part of this in my eyes. I can't believe that you got to do it. Nick and I work together. Our full time is together. So when Nick told me he was interested in doing this, it was a fucking dream. And I think we got a lot closer from it as well.
For sure.
You made a new friend with
For
Jake.
sure,
and we can't wait to have you over just to watch some Serie A and to talk some shit,
for
brother.
For sure. Thank you for having me, guys.
Do this. Introduce Aman onto the next segment.
Aman, take it away.
Greetings from cold, snowy Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. It's an honor to speak about my team, Hellas Verona, on the Serie A Spotlight podcast. Thank you to Jake and Matt. And with that, I'll jump right in. Coming into the year, as you can imagine, for really all teams in Serie A, and especially the Minnows, there was cautious optimism about our hopes. Verona stayed up last season under the stewardship of Paolo Zanetti and finished in 15th. And while no one expected a comfortable mid-table finish this season, there was a belief that we could pull another rabbit out of the hat like Verona has seemed to have done constantly in this decade. Unfortunately, things began unraveling almost immediately. The team only had 3 points combined in October and November, and that included a miserable home loss to Parma that I can't help but wonder if it'll make a difference at the end of the season. We did have some glimpses of hope in December. We had a 3-1 thrashing victory against Atalanta at home, followed immediately by a win at Fiorentina at the death, which apparently has become a 6-pointer relegation battle. But after that, we fell right back to shit. We're currently in the middle of an 8-match winless streak, of which we've given up 3 goals or more in 5 of those matches. The last being the humiliating 4-0 loss to Cagliari over the weekend that led to Coach Zanetti's firing this past week. I'd argue that the firing was clearly justified, if not overdue. Quickly on, I guess, a eulogy for Coach Zanetti. His offensive approach was unimaginative. It was rigid, essentially just hoping for our strikers Giovan and Orban to create something from nothing and otherwise mindlessly throw desperate crosses from the wings into allegedly 5'10" strikers, regardless of opponent. This strategy was especially frustrating in our game 2 matches ago against Udinese, in which their back line, which might as well be NBA power forwards, handled our attack with an ease I don't think I've seen in Serie A, maybe ever. It was infuriating. On top of that, there were defensive lapses everywhere throughout the season. We have conceded the most goals in Serie A this year. And on top of all of that, really not a lot of adjustments from game to game or even half to half. You know, I was talking with another spot head, a friend of mine, who is also a U.S. national team fan like myself, and he mentioned it sounded a lot like the U.S. national team's loss to the Netherlands this past World Cup in the round of 16, after which the manager, Louis van Gaal of the Dutch team, said the U.S. didn't adjust, didn't adapt. They had shown us weaknesses on their, in their film, in their game tape that they didn't change for months. And we basically just exploited those weaknesses and they never changed and we won comfortably. I'd imagine that many managers in Serie A, after watching our tape this year, probably thought the same thing, and you can see it from all of our performances. So, with that, I know I'm being harsh to Zanetti. He did deliver us a salvation campaign last season, and he's had some harsh injury luck as well, which is a death knell for a team of our size and level of investment. We are the 19th out of 20 as far as player value. We're often at the bottom of the transfer market because we rely on Sean Sogliano and the incredible development, scouting and development program that Hellas Verona has. But that said, right, with a thin team, injuries are a death knell. And I'd even go so far as to say that Zanetti, his supporters would say that the team fought really hard for him too. To which I say, who cares? That is the basics in a professional league. Of course they're going to play hard. You have talent. You have effort. The coach's responsibility is to turn that into something. Build a strategy, build an approach, adapt to your team, adapt to the situation, adapt to your opponent. And that just wasn't there. So it goes. With Zanetti gone, the appointment of Primavera coach Paolo Sammarco feels to some like a stopgap, but I believe it's really an extension of the approach that the Presidio investors who now own the team after purchasing them last year are looking for, right? This is effectively a long-term rebuild. And so with that, I think from a tactical perspective, the approach going forward will be simpler football going forward, perhaps more direct play, definitely a stronger focus on defensive discipline if, a counter-led attack is going to work, which is what Verona typically does out of our 3-5-2. I'm sure you'll see more gambling because we frankly have to win. We have 12 points very late in the season. The last month of the season is effectively a gauntlet. We'd be lucky to have 1 point. I believe we play Inter, Roma, Juventus, and even Napoli. So basically we have to secure our salvation by the end of April. And so I think you'll see more games in which the team is a lot more intentional about which ones to go for the 3 points versus fighting for a point. Now, with our injuries, it wasn't a surprise. We weren't aggressive enough to draw teams in on the counter. And so I do wonder now as our team starts to get healthy, whether we can see the Hellas Verona team that I think a lot of us expected to start the season. And so I'll then pivot really quickly to the players and their injuries, or rather departures as well. Our best player, Giovanni, found him on a free transfer this past summer, was just sold to Napoli for 20 million euro. Unfortunately, just seeing how exciting he was and how much attention he was getting around the league, it was pretty clear he was going to be gone. It was a foregone conclusion. So it goes with Minot teams that have to sell players to keep the engine going. Our most exciting player after him, I would say, is Gift Orban. He's had an excellent season. He's a 20-year-old striker from Nigeria, and despite not starting all season, has 7 goals, which is good for tied for 6th in Serie A. For now, he's more known for his viral TikTok dances and strange goal celebrations, but I expect that to flip very quickly. The man is very talented, and I think he'll be a stalwart in Serie A or really any league he chooses for the foreseeable future. Beyond that, almost every starter or regular player has missed significant time. Guys like our midfielder, talisman, Suat Serdar, exciting young winger, Rafik Belgali, who I believe got injured during the African Cup of Nations, playing for Algeria. One of my personal favorites, maybe my favorite player on the team, Cheknas, excellent defensive mid with some attacking chops as well, and a nice guy, by the way. Serie A spotlight nickname legend Armin Bella Kochap, who has just had his loan finalized to be a permanent fixture at Hellas Verona. Tomas Suslov, a really exciting attacking mid who's been out all season with a serious leg injury. Roberto Gagliardini, who seems to always be hurt. The list is, I could talk about that forever. And to make things even worse, our first choice goalkeeper, Lorenzo Montipo, who really was one of the reasons, if not the reason we set up last season, has had a really poor run of form. He's been since benched. And it's really tough to watch because we had just extended him in this offseason, I'm sure in part due to the great work he did last season. He seems to really struggle with set pieces and corners, doesn't seem to know when to come out of the goal. And so, Zanetti was a little bit late to adjust there also, and probably should have benched him earlier, even though his backup is probably just kind of a jobber, right? Like kind of a replacement level keeper. I can think of at least 4 points that we lost because of late game blunders by Montipo this season. It's been really tough to watch. That said, I think there are a lot of bright spots for the team. Even in this season, the team is getting healthy very quickly. The returns of Belgali and Bella Kochap are imminent. Suslov will be back by the end of the month as well. And for the few matches we've played with a full deck, we've had some pretty, I would say, hair-raising performances, really exciting near upsets. We were one very tight offsides call away from beating Juventus early in the season. We were one Giovanni chip from beating Napoli at the Maradona for the first time since I was in diapers, and as you can see, I'm not a young buck, and so there is a lot of promise here. And as Jake and Matt have both mentioned on the pod, Hellas Verona are XG heroes, right? Expected goals allowed and expected goals scored. If that replaced the result of the matches, we'd be in 12th place. Now, there's some luck in there. It's not a predictive metric, right? It basically is showing you how well your team creates chances and prevents chances. It doesn't really talk about who's taking those chances, right? I'd rather have Nico Paz take a shot than maybe a random defender, but that metric doesn't really tell you or factor that in, right? But the point is, there's been some poor luck, and when we are a healthy team, we have shown to be dangerous. All that to say, even if we do get relegated, the long-term future for Hellas Verona, I think, is bright. Presidio Ventures, who purchased the team last year, has a clear plan to grow into a Serie A mainstay, building on the strength of player development, while also modernizing a club that, and its operations, that is kind of in the past a little bit. You know, as Jake and Matt have mentioned, Verona would take a full Serie A share with them to Serie B if relegated, while they unwind from contracts and arrangements from the previous administration that probably don't align to what they want to do. And, you know, if operations improve in a way that allows us to break even into the top 14 or 15 teams as far as spend, with that, you know, top of the line development approach by Sean Sogliano, I have no doubt that will be a stalwart in the league, and who knows, maybe compete for a couple of European tournaments down the road. So in conclusion, while this season's been a rough one, I do think the future is bright. I do think the team has a great foundation, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do once everybody's healthy. And who knows, if we can get enough points here in these next few games, including this 6-pointer relegation loser leaves town match against Pisa on Friday, that could be all it takes to turn things around.
A man, a myth, a legend. Thank you very much, Aman. Or a man. Very good points, very informative. To be honest, I feel like there isn't much to add. You touched on absolutely everything, including the decent start that Hellas Verona had this season and how it kind of like faded out of control and kind of like spiraled out of absolutely nowhere.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think a really good point you made was that despite where Verona are at right now, the project is there. I think apart from Atalanta, now this is just my own observation, there's no statistics attached to it. For me, they've got the best scouting network behind Atalanta. I mean, the players that they bring in and the players that they sell and the players that they have sold over the past. If you could create a legendary Serie A team from those players. And I mean, look, relegation is not the end of the world for Hellas Verona. There's the parachute payments. There are certain players who I'm sure will stick by that have been there for a number of years, and clearly we've got some insight on the investment side of things, etc. That all look pretty neat as well. And yeah, I do hope that Verona would become a mainstay in Serie A, and I think, man, club-wise, I see it happening.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very beautiful city, and it makes perfect sense for it to be a regular top division outing, right, for most of these traveling fans. I think that your point on scouting is very true. Quite often we find ourselves joking about, like, when we're reading out the Hellas Verona acquisitions, and you know, I'm reading out the names and you're going, who, you know what I mean? Because like, who are these people? We'd never heard of them. And then the next thing we know, 6 months later, 2 of them are being sold for 20 million, you know? Yeah. So absolutely fantastic scouting. To your point of the player value being 19th out of 20th in the league, however, I do believe that there were some smart moves, man, setting up this team this year. I didn't think from the get-go that this team was a relegation favourite. At all. No. Because they had, again, Montepò, granted he's had a dip, but he's a good keeper. The defence included Nelson, Valenti and Unai Núñez, a nice combination of players who are exciting and players who have been around and done that. Lots of experience in midfield. Gagliardini, Serdar,
Belgali is also a nice little talent as well.
looks pretty good as well. The wings are decent. Up front they had Jovan and Gift Orban. I think with a manager who was a bit more creative, you could be in a better situation right now. Now granted XG and all that, granted, but we all saw the last game and the one against who was it, Udinese, where they were just hoofing the ball.
I think it was in their 3-1 loss to Udinese.
My God, how unimaginative! Just literally long balls over the top to Gift Orban, as you mentioned, 5'10". That's not short. I'm 5'10". But every time they would absolutely destroy him. They just easily win the ball back and counter-attack or win back possession and start playing side to side again. It's unimaginative.
And I think even last season, despite, like you mentioned, they finished in 15th spot, which is great for a Verona that have been struggling for survival over the past 4 years, including before that the relegation play out against Spezia when Falcone cleared the ball up the line with his hand and then Zola missed the penalty. But even in that, even last season, there's so many long stretches where I believe that Verona should have sacked Zanetti. It was a period of 5 matches that changed everything for Verona. I don't think they were consistent enough to warrant a 15th place finish. It was so tight at the bottom that just 1 or 2 more victories literally.
I think they weren't cutthroat enough, funnily enough.
Gift Orban could do this all he wants, but not cutthroat enough.
I think if it were me right now, we know that Hellas Verona have investment behind them. We know if they go back down, they're going to try their best to go back up. I think you have a year in Serie B right now. The coach selection is key.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go for Gotti.
No.
I might go for D'Aversa, but he doesn't excite me.
No.
I think this is the moment where you go for someone to grow with the team in Serie B, someone who is good enough to get the job done, to get you promoted. The question is who, right?
Well,
dare I say Gilardino, man.
So I don't think Gilardino takes a Serie B job, but Pippo Inzaghi seems obsessed with coaching in Serie B. So if he gets Palermo promoted, then
back to Serie B and get onto Hellas Verona if they're not up. But yes, I think between D'Aversa and Gotti, though, I would choose D'Aversa.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Right?
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. We are 8 minutes late. Milan have started.
The Milan game, and if I saw correctly, someone was 1-on-1. I'm not sure what the hell happened there.
It was in Kunku. Same time next week, guys.
Yes, and fuck Crystal Palace for trying to shaft Milan.
Oh my God, how we didn't
even
talk
about it.
Of course, because we didn't speak about Milan.
But that was
Crystal Palace,
ridiculous.
Mateta, get well soon. No hard feelings, bro.
3 to 4 months, you'll be back.
Exactly. Ciao.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.